Check out my brand new hobby here, courtesy of Tyrone here up in the deck. And make sure you make it down to the Indy screen print trailer there, ladies and gentlemen, because we are got the special edition Phyllis Tunny t-shirts in the Indy screen print trailer. We are live now. Welcome aboard to YouTube land here for the Indianapolis Speedrome, the official Indianapolis Speedrome channel. And I'll actually track that one down myself and get signed on. And I'll let you know now at this point, for you folks joining us here at the track, in the world, wherever you might be, make sure you check us out and join our fun here, because new subscribers today, we're going to give out some free tickets to the new subscriber. And there we go, live practice looking at the Indianapolis Speedrome. Click on that, and I'll get to see my lovely face. Nope, they don't show my face because they know better, and YouTube does have rules. But there we are, live now on the YouTube at the Speedrome, Indianapolis Speedrome YouTube channel. So make sure you get on there. And once again, I'll let you know, folks at the pits there, get a heads up there, let your family know they were over on the YouTube page having fun with that one. We ask you to go ahead and check that out. There's links posted as well on the Speedrome Facebook page and other goodies there to be able to get over there, but easy to find. Be able to do a few more things on the YouTube we were not able to do on Facebook. Keep things archived a bit better, etc. We are getting ready as well for practice here. Senior Faskarts up first. Tori Stell's up on my side of the booth. Scott Nye over on his side.
Good evening, Tori.
Hi, Scott. As we're getting ready to rock this one out and get used to our new home. There we go. Link is now posted live on the Facebook as well, so glad to have you come out and join us. And now I'm looking for, do we have captions? I got one watching. I know it's one of them's me at least. There we go. Do we have a comment section? Now, do I get my peanut gallery back is what I want to know. Because God knows those people miss me. Gates opening up. Senior Faskarts out on the track.
Hey, and Tori, joining us this week is real weather.
It is.
Real weather this week. Great sunny skies, 70 degrees out. Finally, the weather we've been looking for. It's opening, almost like opening day by the weather we've got here.
Mother Nature has finally cooperated here. It's a good night. Had a great night of racing last night at the dirt track over at Circle City. Tonight, gorgeous weather here for us at the Indianapolis Speedrome. Great night to come out. Month of May in Indiana, of course, always one of the bestest times in the whole live world. And you're welcome to come out and join us as well, folks. Glad to have you come and be part of the fun. Let's see.
Got our first group of senior fast carts out there right now. We got Jared Gerke, Leland Hargraves, Marky Griever, Justin Bliss, Elvin Acree, Jordan Acree. Looks like, is that Destiny Acree?
Desiree,
I'm sorry.
We have the entire Acree. We got acres of Acrees right now. Got the 63 machine of Mr. Justin Bliss. The Bliss families, oh man, between Justin and Gavin, they've been cleaned up here in 2025. Hayden Gerke, of course, and Jared Gerke. Hayden in the 5, Jared in the 2 machine. That family been a sturdy part of this class for the last few years.
Yeah, Gavin moving up from the juniors has had a solid start. Believe he's second in points going into tonight. So a great start for the youngster.
Another one returning, Leland Hargraves in the 08 is out there. Of course, the Hargraves family goes back quite a few generations here at the Indianapolis Speedrome. Some they acknowledge, some they don't. And then you're going to have Marky Griever on his rookie season in that number 27 machine. And we're checking out the Jordan Acree's new number 99. And Desiree on her debut. We have the number 4. And looking at Desiree, I believe, right there in that number 4 machine. And bringing that to a close, fast time was Hayden Gerke's 15.577. 15.577 for Hayden Gerke was the best lap we had out of the group. About 3/10 better than the field at that point.
Yeah, the Crees have been in a lot of different divisions out here, but they've really taken to the senior fast carts over the first few weeks. We had one, and then it seemed like 2 or 3, and then, so now we got the whole family cooking in here.
The Crees have accrued some more fast carts.
Yeah, they may end up with their own heat race here sooner than later.
Uh-oh.
Waiting for the next group to come out here of the Hankey, Marks, and Kreider senior fast carts.
No hanky-panky here. Fans, welcome to the Indianapolis Speedrome. Get yourselves comfy, festival seating, wherever you'd like to be. Just keep in mind the only rule we have is, 1, be nice to everybody, and 2, if you settle down at the Mike Heimel auction service section there on the south end of the track,
in front of that sign there, please. No smoking, no alcoholic beverages, no electronic cigarettes, and the like. I can see a couple of my old pros there. Notice set up on the back stretch, so they got the sun to their back as it sets. Good job there. And concessions available for you, ready to rock.
Got another group of seniors here dropping the line, and we'll see who we got here. It's another Acree, 00 of Brandon Acree, the 36 of Gavin Bliss, the 22 of Danielle Dodge, the 91 of reigning champion Mark Purvis, the 75 of Jetty Jones, and back with us, the 23 of Dale Armour.
Dale Armour returning, ladies and gentlemen, into house. He's got real numbers on it, too, this time.
Nice.
Brand new stickers and everything. They won't last.
Yeah, whether it's speed or whatever, you know, he'll go to the front for sure. Yeah. Had a bumpy start to the season, but he's also been to victory lane as well. So it's been an up and down. We'll see what this week brings for Armour. Scott Stewart also joining us out there in the 84.
The yellow submarine. Next up, get ready. Ford's on the oval. Ford's on the oval. Ford's on the oval. You'll be up next. Ford's on the oval. You will be up next. Again, heads up, folks. We are live worldwide on the YouTube channel now. Launching the Speedrome YouTube channel as a part of our live outreach program. So,
and if you're looking to join us on that, you can go to our Facebook page, and there's a link there to click on that'll take you directly to the live feed. Or you can go to the Indianapolis Speedrome YouTube channel and just search it on there and click on the link there for the live practice. And it's free. But I'd like you to join our YouTube page when you're on there. As Tori mentioned, we'll gather up all the new subscribers to our YouTube channel. And again, it is free to join our YouTube channel. And we'll put those names in a hat and draw out some winners for free tickets here during the week.
And for you folks in the stands, just a reminder, the Indy Screen Print outside of Turn 1 has the brand new Phyllis Tunny Memorial shirts. You may want to check that one out. There's a limited number of them available. And Tunny family didn't get all of them, but they are available for sale. Available outside of Turn number 1. The Indy Screen Print trailer. It's got a bunch of other goodies as well, but you want to get over there and check those out and grab them quick because they are going to go fast here tonight. Get the concession stands open for you around the racetrack, and, of course, the restroom facilities available underneath my main grandstand down the south end. Got you covered there, too. Wrapping this one up, Mark Purvis, now our fast cat at 15.530, tops out over Gerke's 15.577. So a couple fast carts up in the 15.5 section range.
I tell you what, Purvis is risen to the top in the last maybe year and a half or so. He was a good competitor there for a couple of years and really hit his mark in the mid-season last year. Won his first feature, then drove that all the way to winning the championship, and he's already got an early lead in the point standings here in 2025.
Don't let him know you're talking about him. He won't let you give it. He won't let you stop. Okay.
Yeah, he went from the chaser, and now he's the one being chased up top. So Purvis quick in this first round of practice, so gotten off to a good start here this afternoon for the senior fast carts. Look like we got a few more stragglers out for one more group of senior fast carts here in the first round.
And one of your favorite, Ms. Benninger in the house of the number 8.
Nice.
Now, I'm kind of getting interesting. The cut down card, a lot of folks there, they build up the sides. But here, the number 62, I don't know if it's a case of just saving money for, I'm not sure who we got in that one. Now you got me looking around myself here.
Yeah, let's see what we got on the My Race Pass app, and usually we can find out who is signed in that machine before they got their transponder. That'll help us out. Here's 62.
Yes.
It looks like Matt Ross.
Oh, the dad, duh.
That's
yeah,
because
but he went for really a cut down, almost like the Champ Cart style buys instead of all the extra sheet.
Yeah, Ross, whose kids, Brian and Nick, race in the Junior Fast Kart Series, joined us for his first ever race in the seniors the last time out. Now Matt's back with us here. And you've talked about all the body styles. That's a little bit of the freedom they've got in that class. So you'll see some different wing types, some roof types, some side types.
Another new Whitney Dodson with the same idea of cut down on the sides. Like I said, a bit close to what the Champ Carts and some of the other go-kart type classes will run, which is perfectly allowed.
Yeah, that definitely reminds me of that too with those side pod type deals. Those just basically body work along the rub rails. They're along the side of the cart, and then the body sort of tucked in the nose there. No roof on that machine. Should be the last of the senior fast carts here in the first round as the white flag is in the air for this group. Still Mark Purvis atop the charts. Mark looks like he's going to survive this last wave of carts and be the fastest and grab the bragging rights here in round number 1 for the Hankey Marks and Kreider senior fast carts. A couple of teammates right behind him of Hayden Gerke and the 40 of Manny Aguilar and Dale Armour in the 23 and Justin Bliss. They round out the top 5 overall in the first round of Hankey Marks and Kreider senior fast carts. We'll go from the smallest class that's here this evening to possibly the biggest and heaviest class we've got here this evening. The Fords will be jumping out on the oval. The Fords are presented by the Outdoorsman Sports Shop, and they'll be competing on the oval for the 3rd time this season, and actually finally for the first time this year, we'll see the Ford cars out on the figure 8 here later this evening.
And Kurt Gerald's pointing me how to work this ding-dang thing. Larry Hammond's welcome on board here to a new club there over at the YouTube page. Dan S8 Race 8. Is that Dan's shoe? I don't know.
Did you find your chat there, Tori?
I found my chat.
Nice.
That's Neeser K. That's a new one from Lakeland, Florida with us. So we do have a chat with us, live chat available on the YouTube page as we had with the Facebook. There.
Good.
Yay, team.
Yeah, sometimes we learn some fun stuff about people racing here or the people tuning in that chat, so pretty cool to be live in that.
And sometimes you use it in court against them, so it's really handy.
It's called evidence.
I tell you. Fords on the track, including, fella just picked up a win last night on the dirt. Now trying for one here tonight on the roundy round and the 8. Can he pick up, what do we call that, triple threat hit on something? Zach Deach is in the Orange Crush number 2. And fella joined him there, our rookie of the year from last year, number 24 of Adam Arrington out there on the track in this group. 17 of Andrew Brown, regular here with the Speedrome.
First appearance for him in 2025 here on the asphalt. I know he's been running over there on the dirt.
He has, but yep, glad to see him back with us over here. We got to start the hammer, Harold Bruce, in number 21.
And the man that's looking to go for 3 in a row, the 98 of Brendan Halford out there.
Good point. He's been killing them on the roundy round here.
31 of Gully, Justin Gully out there.
Good, back in action. And who'd I miss? Miss Hughes, Alexis Hughes, 0, heading down the backstretch.
Yep.
It's okay, yep. Got room for messages there on the live chat. I'll try to keep track of those as much as I can and let you guys know. Folks in the stands, we are live right now worldwide on both the Speedrome.tv channel as well as the YouTube application. And we are going to pass out some free prizes here, free tickets to a lucky winner who subscribes here on tonight's event, our inaugural event on the YouTube live channel. So we'll be glad to have you check that out for your friends who are not able to be here know about it.
Yeah, and this coverage of the free practice on YouTube, once this is over, it'll be archived on there. You'll be able to go back to our YouTube channel and check that out later on. As
we look at the Alexis Hughes 0 machine, head down the backstretch there, right behind her, the Gully 31. Alexis, young lady, coming up through the junior, basically the junior fast carts. And the Hughes family with our Indy's Best Towing Company, they put her in the Ford last year, and right off the bat, the girl is picking up checkers.
Yeah, she won her first feature there last year on the oval, and then dabbled in the figure 8 a bit and loved that a lot too. So she's going to look to try to get her a figure 8 win this season and add to her resume.
And doing pretty good. Traveled around with her a bit there, taking a couple of different tracks. So
saw her down in Florida in February.
Down in Florida, yep, having some fun. Adam Arrington's my fast cat, a 15.218. Brendan Holford's number 98 was a 15.308. And Zach Deach is the Orange Crush, 15.387 for the fast laps on the roundy round for the Fords.
You know, we mentioned the versatility of these cars, Tori. Those guys, Arrington and Deach, is running on the dirt last night. Not much changeover needed to bring them over here to the asphalt, give them a quick cleanup and change air pressure and things. And
that's the game plan. Basically keep them as close as what Detroit gave us to play with. It looks like Stocker's up next, Street Stock's up next, and then the factory front-wheel drive. Street Stocks, then factory front-wheel drives, practicing on the roundy round, and then we'll switch over to practice on the figure 8. First chance to see who's coming out for the Phyllis Tunny Memorial. 75 laps on the Phyllis Tunny Memorial tonight.
Great program tonight with our 6 classes. It includes 3 figure 8 features tonight. So those of you tuning in on the YouTube channel and local here, you got plenty of time to come on out and join us. 7 total features tonight, 3 of those on the figure 8 course. So pretty exciting night ahead.
A lot of fun. Let your friends know. Glad to have you come out in person. If you can't, of course, check us out at speedrome.tv. And for a little bit, enjoy the Facebook freebie. And we'll be doing other content on our Facebook, our YouTube freebie. Got to get used to saying that one. But again, make your way around, get comfy, find a good seat there. Remember, it's festival seating. There are a couple special seating areas there for folks needing that, for example, offset areas down there low. Folks need to win the area for a wheelchair. Please reserve those for those folks. And set up your chairs in that one. Rex Cox out there is number 87. Going to get things turned up a little bit for the Stalkers. Also number 27 of Henry McDougal and the 3 machine of Jordan Gonder on the track. Gonder already a feature winner here this year.
Currently leading the standings in the 3 machine. He won the opening night, as you mentioned. Had a good podium finish in the Brian Luttrell race a couple of weeks back, so got some good points to start the year off.
On the peanut gallery there, Lisa Simmons is actually at the track there, checking in. She's up from her pre-race nap, so she's ready to check out the racing tonight. Her favorite, Ben Tunny, is, of course, going to be racing in tonight's Phyllis Tunny Memorial. Something that the Tunny boys and fan kids have all had a stranglehold on, it seems, but over the years, a couple of them other folks have snuck in there. Ben, we got Ben, 3-time winner?
4, I think. Might be 3.
1, 2, 3, up 4, 2014 as well.
Yeah, 5 for Mark Tunny. Yeah. So Ben trying to get level with him this evening.
Mark getting the first one back in 2003 and picking up the 2024. He's got the bookends on the chase. Jordan Gonder, 14.492. Nice little lap.
Yeah, again, the story of Gonder, pretty cool on this car. Had a tough last lap of the season last year where he got a wreck on the backstretch and pretty much totaled this car out on the very last lap of the season. They spent all winter long tweaking and twisting on that thing to get it all straightened back out, and barely made it here in time for the opening night and picked up the feature win, and as we mentioned, got a podium in the second race. So so got her tweaked all right, and he's one of the faster cats here to start the season.
He's definitely been rocking it out. The Gondorosa base, where's the rest of the Gondorosa, though? Where have they been?
Well, we had a track rental a week or so ago when Big Brother Joe out here got some hot laps, so I'd expect him to be out pretty soon because they had the Luttrell race a couple weeks ago, and they're going to turn right around and have the Toby Eads race next Saturday night. So the big events are coming fast and furious for the Shelbyville Auto Parts Street Stocks.
A couple more Street Stockers coming out of the closet there, so to speak. Darrell Manuel's number 77 came to play, the 89. The rookie chase. Now, this is going to be interesting there for Josh Mann there. Not a lot of rookies to choose from, and right now he's been doing pretty good for himself.
Yeah, I think there's 2 in the standings right now, Mann and then Kyle Summers also on the rookie chase so far.
I didn't realize he hadn't run before. Okay.
He ran a few times and had a tough crash over here in 3 or 4 a couple of years
ago.
Up.
Cracked his arm up.
Yep. And that was like his 3rd or 4th race out, so didn't lose his rookie status on that. So excited to have him back as a rookie. And
Cody Rackley, Jordan Hahn, got a couple of the fellas coming back to play.
Yeah, first time out for both of those individuals.
Yep. Justin Green, of course, out in the wagon.
Kevin Smith out there, winner of the Brian Luttrell race a couple of weeks ago. Billy Bart out there in the 15 machine.
Kevin Smith, number 61, the 77 Emmanuel there, folks, as go across your screen. Everybody on board. Lisa Kay, glad to keep you entertained. Join the peanut gallery here tonight. Take a look, there is your Cody Rackley machine there. Of course, the Rackley family goes back a couple generations like so many folks out here. Cody, the newest branch, to join us, leading a bit of a pack.
Yeah, didn't get to see him too much last year, but just happened to trip across him on Facebook this morning. Excited to make his 2025 debut out here.
Of course, a lot of us go way back into the history books for the Speedrome, especially in the down and dirty days of the 8, and that's going to be Don and Al Rackley and family there, and of course the legendary Don Delvo, who could be almost anybody he wanted to be.
Rackley family's been around for, probably 50, 60 years around here at the Speedrome. So,
Dick Rackley and Al Rackley were very much a big chunk of the activities.
A couple of great characters as well, besides being good racers on the racetrack.
Well, the part I always liked was I think it was Dick working at Chrysler at the time, one of the plants nearby, and he had to run under a different name, or actually they run in each other's name because the rule said they couldn't race because that interfered with their insurance program.
Yeah.
So
a little incognito mode
yep.
there. Stuff you could get away back in those days, you probably couldn't get away with today.
No, you can't. Nowadays, you got to file a W-9 and a W-10 and some blood sample, some DNA to go racing. Jordan Hahn's number 26 looking very, very nice in silver. Is waiting for another batch to come out and play.
Yeah, good to see Jordan back, former champion of this class and a winner of many of the big events here in the class. Another driver, former champion of the junior Faskarts, Jordan Hahn. So getting his start in that. I'll continue my streak of plugging junior Fascart drivers. Let's see who we got here. So
I see Donnie Scurry making his way in his Zero Hero machine.
Yeah, the old Thunder chick in there.
There you go, yep. And, oh, my God. Every girl's crazy about a sharp-dressed man. The 24 machine returns.
The winningest driver in the history of the modern street stock division. That's the sharp-dressed man, Larry Hahn, in the 24.
Larry Hahn said he was coming back, and I see a couple other cars we have not yet seen this year. Of course, got the 92. Jerry Johnson has been with us.
Yeah,
another family that goes way back, but I got two new ones here. What we got here for the first time out? In the number 54 machine.
That's Gonder. That's Joe. No, that might be Joe the third.
Somebody did. And the 177 of Billy Pittman, his first time out in the stocker.
Nice.
This year.
Billy kind of flip-flops around between the front-wheel drives and the stock class.
Well, he's another one of those kind of local boys that just has one in his garage, been sitting around.
Yeah, and spends most of his time out here with his son, who races in the Junior Fast Kart Series. You know, who's a guy that's up towards victory lane. So he kind of puts him priority. So since they're not running tonight, he's doing a little playing.
And let me now 16 now have taken some hot laps with us so far. Fast time is Jordan Gonders 14.489. Kevin Smith 14.558. Rex Cox in that first group 14.729.
Yeah, got a good class. I think the most we've had this year was 18 or so. So we're up in that range. And like you mentioned, it's very nice to see some first-time 2025 competitors out here joining us, knocking off the rust from the winter time. Maybe all this sunshine we've had out here today got them fired up and got them out here.
Yeah, Larry Ham's asking about putting a gate up. I missed out on what gate he's discussing. Unless he's talking about the backstretch gate that we created about a couple years ago. Started helping and taking fans in from the backstretch to make it easier, ease them on through. Larry Hahn shaking off the dust on the number 24 machine. Still way down, barely, not even to 15.5 yet. He's got a full second behind where he needs to be so far, but he's got some rust to shake off. He hasn't been with us here much lately.
Yeah, and Larry and Jordan have cars that they run on the traveling circuit around the Midwest, so they're a little bit different than the regular Speedrome cars, so maybe take a little bit of adjustments to get them to go back and forth between those setups. They definitely know their way around here.
Larry Ham from Nevada asking about the gate at the pit gate where they come out. I believe you're talking about the there's a gate that we've used off and on. Sometimes it's been there, sometimes we took it down, going back a couple decades. Mainly to keep out the extra foot traffic into an area that sometimes if you don't pay attention, it starts filling up with extra people. And so we used to put that up there to keep the cars from crowding up too closely. And so he's asking about some one of the changes out here. We did get that back up again.
Yeah, that's exactly right what has happened. People were just wandering over too close there, and it's in an area that, some sort of crash happens over there that could be easily to get someone involved and hurt over there. So that gate is sort of to corral those folks back into the pit area.
And I'll toss you another bit of trivia. With the first one that we put up back in about 78 because it was a massive, very long gate, what we came up with to move it around was one of my old skateboards.
Nice.
Attached to the bottom.
I remember it was a rolling gate. I didn't know that.
One of my old skateboards. That's about 5 years there. So there you go.
Multi-purposing.
So now you know.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's, I believe Factory Front Wheel Drive's up next. Again, we are live worldwide on
Yeah, rounding out the top 5 there was Jordan Gonder, Jerry Johnson, Kevin Smith, Rex Cox III, and Henry McDougal up in the top 5 there from that round of practice. So,
yeah, McDougal's looking pretty sweet. He had nice little laps come together.
Yeah, the first time out he got here really late, and the car smoked a little bit and needed a little tweaking and stuff, and I think he's improved on it each time out. So Henry, who's won features in the street stocks and the road runners out here before, and, of course, his family's raced out here for quite a while.
Looks like they're getting ready. One or two try to pull up the gate to squeeze in, but I think they're trying to get to the next class. And we're going to be rotating through the classes up to about 5:30, so still plenty of time left in practice here, and rotate through the various classes as we go along.
Yeah, and sometimes during this first round you have folks that are still getting here and maybe miss the first round of practice or just getting unloaded. So the car count will always pick up there in the second round of practice.
Welcome, race fans, up to the Indianapolis Speedrome. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. Gorgeous weather tonight. May dip down a little bit when the sun goes down, so make sure you got that extra jacket or blanket just in case. In case you do forget one of those, though, we got you covered outside of turn number 1, the Indy Screen Print trailer, and he has that brand new and special edition Phyllis Tunny memorial shirts available. They will be. I don't know if they'll be able to last have enough for the night. He made a limited number, but they are on sale right now. Phyllis Tunny memorial shirts for the 75 lapper tonight.
Yeah, first time there's ever been a Phyllis Tunny shirt.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. They flagged me down and showed me that, and I thought that was really neat, being one of the folks out here who knew Phyllis fairly well and ran around and had more than my fair share of sippies out of her magic little cup.
All right, who we got here in this first round?
Charles Catron Jr. Charles Jr. Catron out there is number 61. Oh, wait a minute. Yep, 61, I think. I thought he changed numbers on me. One of the folks on the track right now. Back he's fast to cat right now, 15.578. That's going down.
We got Jaden Steele out there in the 13. We've got the 114 of William Clark, the 5 of Chris Snap, the rookie, the 17 of Doug Underwood, Zach Hall out there in the 333, and Devin Matthews, it looks like, in the 75.
And my 114 of Clark Sr. there. A lot of smoky smoke coming out of the backside of that one. And in fact, worse than smoky smoke, I'm wondering if he's losing. Yeah, we're putting the black on him. Yeah, he needs pulling off. And I'm trying to see if he's leaving a trail for the rest of us or just himself. And, yeah, there's a touch of a trail out there.
Yeah, hopefully just maybe some bolts to tighten or something up there on that machine from this first round of practice.
They're just watching too many Cheech and Chong movies.
Up in smoke.
Up in smoke. You got it. A couple folks having a little bit of fun with the bodies here in 2025 here. Liking the 333. I haven't quite decided if that's like the Domino's pizza delivery van, what we got going on there.
Yeah, definitely a compact type machine.
And who'd have thunk after season started by losing a wheel right off the bat, and Jaden Steele, my fast cat, 15.162 right now, is the fastest car on the track so far for the minis.
Yeah, his outings have gotten better and better from that rough start, from losing the wheel. We mentioned the rookie Doug Underwood out here. Underwood had his son make his debut last time out in the junior Faskarts. And so that family is jumping up. And I hear Doug Underwood is looking to possibly join the minis next year, as he's talking with Cody Mason about purchasing one of his rides. So exciting to see the Underwood family jumping in there full force.
And Jaden keeps that fast time, 15.162,
yeah, nice
and 0.2 better than Catron's number 61 machine. So not a bad showing at all for the Steel crowd. Hearing a little bit of a buzz from the folks with Devin Matthews and companies, the Matthews kids on board. I'm curious. Let's see.
I thought they had one of those rides for sale there. I saw on Facebook, but evidently not. It's out here and competing tonight.
There you go. And oh my goodness, got a couple of return. And Billy Pittman, I guess he's doing double duty, or does he put the boy in the little one?
Well, the boy ran not Billy, but.
That's right. We got another son in there now.
Yes, that he raced last time out. I'm drawing a blank, but here we'll find out shortly when he crosses the transponder line.
Jimbo, Jethro, good point. We'll find out here. Jacob, there we go. Jacob Daniels.
Yeah, that's right. Billy and him have been sharing this car the last year or so, but now Jacob ran a full night here the last time out, so good to see that. Also, Travis Harmon out there in the 94 machine. Lillian Morgan back in the 27.
Hello.
Got that ride
immediately
repaired.
pulls the infield. Something went wrong on that one. Heartbreak there. And Jalen Summers in the 41. And I guess we're going to get ready for another class after that. We're going to need mini outlaw figure eights. So figure eight practice starting here.
Morgan got her spun around and back up to speed.
And
might be in a belt adjustment or something there, pulling into the infield. No, back into the infield.
I think she's she's checking the GoPro.
Nice, get that all straightened up.
And then the GPS.
Yeah.
Putting in the MapQuest.
Dad'll be giving her a piece of advice here in a minute.
I think so. Why'd you go out there if you're just going to put it in the middle?
Saving gas.
Why didn't you go before we left the track?
Bump.
Oh, Miss Lillian's having her a tough rookie season so far. She's had her share of crack-ups. Hopefully get those chased out. Daddy's got to run it again. And back on the track. Best way. Keep her going. Jaden still my fast cut. Nope, Travis Harmon just got him by a tenth. 15.098 for Travis Harmon.
Harmon, his second night out in 2025. Finished runner-up in the feature at our last event. So
driving one of the cars we've seen pick up more than share of wins, I do believe. Or is that a brand? I guess that is a new one, isn't it?
Possibly so, but he's going with the same graphics package, so it's always hard to tell because they've got that sort of scheme in his team the last few years. So it could be just a similar paint scheme.
Nothing if not consistent.
But showing some good speed here in the first round of practice. As you mentioned, he's atop the standings. Jaden Steele solidly still in second, and then Junior Catron. William Clark, even though he pulled off with that smoke, still fourth quickest. And then opening night winner Raiden Eversole, fifth fastest here.
I saw the buckshot there, and it just didn't seem to quite have the pizzazz he wanted.
I know, but they came in style today. I see them pulling in the parking lot. He's got a great big RV that pulls the open trailer with his car on it. So, they've got a little rest and relaxation back there.
Must be nice.
During the off times there in the 00 camp.
It's good to be the king, I guess. Slight breather in action, ladies and gentlemen, as we get things set up for some figure eight practice. Figure eight practice getting underway. First up will be the mini outlaws and then the outlaws. So stand ready, outlaw figure eight cars, outlaw figure eight cars. Minis up first and then the outlaws to go. And then back to the top of the batting order with the senior Faskarts. Appreciate everybody being with us here at the Indianapolis Speedrome. If you got folks, family, wondering what to do tonight, it's going to be a gorgeous night for racing. Give them a call. Tell them to come on down. Check it out.
Yeah, still plenty of time to get down here. The first green flag officially flies at 6 p.m. And we've got a big batch of heat races followed by 7 features, including 3 figure eight main events. Just $16 to get in. Get a lot of bang for your buck here at the Speedrome. Lots of great places to sit, relax, and enjoy. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the great racing. If you're not able to make it out here, maybe you're out of state or out of town or whatever, you can join us on speedrome.tv. You can get the monthly subscription at or buy tonight individually and sit there in the comfort of your own home and check it out. And go back and replay these events and watch old classic footage as well on speedrome.tv.
And again, whether it may be, whether in person here or worldwide checking us out, we have switched over to our YouTube channel for live broadcast of this pre-race activities. And a chance for you to chat in and join in. You can be part of the peanut gallery there if you like. Phil Cascade has finally joined us. Flagman Phil, we got us a new flagman. We're going to check him out here. If it doesn't work out, well, we'll find something to do with him. But Flagman Phil's actually, I saw him, he was forklift Phil earlier and sweeper Phil, I think, at one point today. So Phil is with us here. But we're trying to do Flagman out, see how that works out as the mini outlaws coming to the racetrack. Okay, and here's, for us old timers now, number 27. That just screamed Eddie Deal. I'm sorry. I saw it on the trailer. I said, oh, my God, Eddie Deal is back.
Yeah.
And I'm going back to the past of one of the fellas that was a regular through the 1980s and 90s here at the Speedrome. And Eddie and his brother Freddie here were part of it. And Eddie always ran the number 27 towards the latter half of his career. And at one point he came out with the car with that pink paint and the like on it. And it was just deja vu all over again, as they say.
Yeah, it's good to see the Brown's Oil Service Minis back out. So far, the strongest season ever in their short 4-year history.
Yep.
We had 17 cars and I believe 16 cars at the first 2 outings.
Yep.
Got a good group here again with us tonight, and we're even going to have a couple of drivers join on at the end of the night. A couple of folks doing double duty tonight, running the Legends over at the Anderson Speedway and then racing over here and jumping in on the mini action at the end of the night. So
out on the track right now, going to have the number 28 of Ray Hobson. Ray Hobson's going to be in the blue number 28. The 07 is Timmy Smith. And I wish I'd gone double check which Tim Smith. I think I know which one it is.
it's Tim Smith that used to be the Rookie of the Year in the street stocks.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Has the car lot, Tim Smith.
And I believe he's got him a little one in the Junior Faskarts.
Yeah, James Rogers is his youngster in the Junior Faskarts. So
27 of Miles Kofer, Mild Coffee, as we like to joke around about. And then, of course, a couple of veterans out on the track. Got number 49 of Steve Vickers out there. The 36 machine is, of course, our dear friend, Mr. Mike Coop. And one of your old faves back on the track, number 12 machine, Victor Reibold.
yeah, the stock king is back.
He is.
And something else that we're transitioning to that we were made aware of by the sanctioning body here for the Mini Outlaws, they're transitioning over to the Cobra tires.
Yep.
Here, so you'll see a lot of yellow sidewalls in those as they're moving to the Cobra tires, which is also the tire that our senior and junior fast carts run on. So something new for the Mini Outlaws this weekend.
Not the same size tire, though.
No, slightly different.
Oh, same manufacturer. Okay.
I've heard of people stretching tires out before for size-wise, but I think that's a little ridiculous.
Well, had me worried for a second there. Steve Vickers, my fast cat on the 8, 19020. And Victor not far behind, 19068. Well matched on those two.
So far, there's been an exciting rivalry, sort of friendly rivalry going on between Vickers and Nathan Arthur. Top the results of a few of the features we've had so far this year. Nathan's won twice, Steve's won once. So we'll see how that plays out over the evening. But a lot of exciting drivers in this class that could notch their first season victory as well on the oval or the figure 8 tonight.
Oh, that's true. We haven't seen Nathan Arthur yet, have we? And we've already gone through about 4 or 5 classes. I mean, gee whiz, he should have been at least out here twice.
I was mistaken. We're just running the figure 8 tonight for the
Mini Outlaws.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, I missed that. But, yeah, Nathan, we didn't see much of Nathan last weekend, so that was kind of odd there. So I'm sure we'll see him shortly. And we'll see if also his team car comes out, which had Rodney Smith behind the wheel, remember, on recent events. We'll see if he's here tonight.
We'll crack out the Ovaltine. Or the Geritol. There is Kevin Brooks back in action, number 3 machine.
First appearance of the 2025 season in the minis.
Kyle Norris in the number 9. The defending champion finally returns. Kyle Norris in the number 9. Boy, you talk about another kid that grew up out here.
And there they are, Nathan Arthur in the 81 and Rodney Smith in the 88. The second on the all-time Legends win list.
I'll tell you.
Out in the bright orange
Got them
number
all
88.
come back. And the little Jalapeno Jackson Navarro with us once again.
Yeah, he showed some great speed so far this year. There's the 85 of Garrett Fox out there. The 8 of Cody Mason.
And a couple of these guys had kind of an easy. It's weird. Some of the folks are coming to this class. You figure some have been. Some would say, some of our semi-retired stock car drivers. A couple of the kids coming in brand new, and then several transition over from the Legends because they take that power plant, all that knowledge of the Legends power plant, and apply it to these figure 8 cars, these Mini Outlaws.
Yeah, even though the weight and the wheelbase is just a little different, there are a lot of familiar parts on those two types of cars, so easily to learn that and have a lot of the same tools in the tool chest ready to tune on these cars.
Yep. I still always have to stop and think about Victor Reibold, who his career was always earmarked by an elbow up, frantic, behind the wheel, stock car racer. That, if he didn't hang his car out the edge, it wouldn't run at all because he had such wild setups on it. And then to be able to come into these little things and actually have some success like he's had with these Mini Outlaws that are much more finely balanced, much more delicate, we'll call it. But as we've seen, full capable going racing, full capable of crashing, full capable of running the 8 and keeping it interesting.
Yeah, and it's not that Victor was like an out-of-control style driver. He was just an aggressive, on-the-edge type of racer.
Yep.
And This is definitely a little bit more finite.
Yep.
But Victor showed the speed. He's been to victory lane in these cars. He's pushed the top two pretty hard here in the first few opportunities that he's had so far in the season. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him in victory lane here tonight with all his figure eight experience.
13 so far, take some hot laps in the mini Outlaws, and the Outlaw figure eight's up next. Outlaw figure eight cars, the on-track gate, please. Outlaw figure eight cars, the on-track gate. In case you're curious, following, we have been starting earlier with our practice sessions. So many things in the pits there, get things taken care of, and trying an earlier start time for the racing itself to accommodate the neighborhood and the changing times and the like. So it's caught a few folks by surprise here with these early starts. But you just keep track of things. We are on, of course, our speedrome.com pages, Facebook, keeping the schedules up. So we do try to, we're trying to tweak the schedule to fit better in with the way folks run today. Regardless, welcome everybody here with us to the Indianapolis Speedrome here. Been going at it since 1941, racing here since 1941 when we opened this track up here as a midget racetrack just before the boys had to head off for World War II, of course. And racing steadily every year since 1944. Took a couple of years off there for the war, but other than that, since 1944, been going at it hammers and tongs, so to speak. But more figure eight practice coming with the Outlaws up next.
And, of course, as you've mentioned tonight, the 23rd annual Phyllis Tunny Memorial Figure 8, 75 laps for the Hadley Towing and Recovery Outlaw Figure 8 cars. We've had 25 cars at each of our first two events. Should see a lot of those same familiar faces tonight, plus a couple of new ones.
Couple add-ons that we weren't expecting. So Robert Polk got a lot of fun for you here tonight, whether he be with us live at the track or on our Speedrome.tv. And speaking of a fellow we haven't been able to see much of this year, number 17, Corey Harmon. Big C.
Yeah, Big C's already escaped some adversity as he was here as part of a track rental today and actually broke his rear end unit.
Ouch.
During the first part of practice.
And he's got a big rear end, too. He's a big guy.
Yeah, repairs have been made there and there. He happened to get back out at the tail of the track rental to make sure everything was okay. So good thing he was here early on that situation, because if it had happened here in the night portion of the program, might have hampered him getting into competition this evening. So good to see him back out on track.
Also joined by Mike Riddle in the number 12 machine. We've got the number 15 of Dennis Sloan, the 03 of the Fireboy, Ricky Schaefer Jr., to be precise, 13 of Anthony Sloan. The 3 of Mark Tunny, trying to pick up another one of the races. He won the inaugural. He won last year. He won a couple in between. And this has always been so special because this is a race in honor of his grandmother, Phyllis. And the whole Tunny clan, of course, always out in force for this race every year. Have not yet seen Austin here in 2025, have we? So it's curious to see if Austin's going to make it to join us here this year. He was the winner back in 2015.
Yeah, also while we're having this first practice and mentioning Phyllis and the Tunny family, want to give a shout out at home to Roseanne. Roseanne not feeling as well lately and hasn't been able to come out and join us yet this season. So Roseanne George at home watching, I'm sure, on the live feed. And
there you go.
Hope to see her out here soon at the racetrack.
Yeah. Don't forget to bring the dog. Don't forget Jack.
Yeah, that's right. Also out there in the track, the 51 machine of Lee Swartz. Lee's been promoting the track all day today. Had his car out at C9 for a car show down south there and handed out a few free tickets and explained the Speedrome Figure 8 to everybody and invited them out this evening. So hopefully we'll see some of those folks here joining us tonight.
And do appreciate seeing Lee with his sponsor, the McNear family, going through a recent loss. So glad to see him on board with us on this one. So all is well with the McNear family as they get things worked through.
Probably 3 groups of these Outlaws here in this first round of practice, and they're starting to wrap up here Group 1 as I see the checkered flag fly there.
Joseph Key checking us out there. Well, joining us from Spring Lake, North Carolina.
Nice.
Taking a peek. I don't think I've been barred from there yet.
Those of you watching on the free YouTube feed, make sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel. As we mentioned, all of our new subscribers today, and of course it's free to subscribe to our YouTube channel for these live look-ins for practice. we'll take all those new subscribers from today. We'll throw all those names in a hat this week, and we'll draw them out and give away a couple of free tickets for an upcoming event. Maybe some other goodies. We'll see what we got.
And the accountants are hoping that whoever wins it is way far away and can't come to the track. Okay.
Well, in that case, we'll see what else we can do for them. Oh, but we appreciate everyone
not giving up my
signing
hobby.
Up to those to the YouTube page.
Dylan Douthit back out. Jillian Lepedo. The 74 Charlie Hargraves. You can see.
Do we have 74 or 47?
We have 74 this time.
That is the brand new car then. Charlie got it out on track last night. Debut race for this brand new machine. That's why he's been running the 47 the first couple of outings, which is his car from last year. So excited to see a brand new ride there for
Chris,
Charlie.
Hope we get a chance here. Take a look at the new ride of Charlie. New ride, but another new face have not seen yet in 2025, and definitely glad to have him on board. That will go through your screen right there. Through crossover was the 40 machine of Robbie Greenwell. Boy, you talk about a youngster with a lot of talent. Enjoyed watching him down at Sportsdrome. He's had a couple good runs here at Speedrome, but tough little competitor. And he's you tell me he's basically given up a shot at possibly a shot at championship here in 2025 to be with us here tonight.
Yeah, they've got an event down there at the Sportsdrome that in the division he normally runs on a weekly basis, but they go by car owner points down there, so I'll have to look and see if he's slid somebody else into his seat down there. But glad to have him. His dad, Darren, who's a veteran of the sport as well. Great people to have on hand up here. Very nice folks, and glad to see them here with us tonight. I think Robbie's tuning up for the 90-minute race here in a couple of weeks.
So far, in case you're keeping score, that makes 14 cars have hit the track so far for hot laps.
Ben Limbach also joining in this group, as well as Christopher Gray.
Yep, Gray is 27 out there. Limbach is number 37.
The three of Kevin Brooks, who you just saw in the mini Outlaws here compete, now jumping in his big ride there out of the Indy's Best Towing Stable. Looks like Dylan Douthit pulled off right there at the start, Tori.
He did. He did manage to get one time a slow lap around, but usually head to the backstretch.
Hopefully that's nothing major there on the 21 ride that he's pulled off for. We'll have to get him back to the pits and to the attention of his crew.
Fast time so far is Mark Tunny, a 17.638. I always talk about you want to be in the 17.7s, and so far he's the only one under 17.7. Kevin Brooks, though, second quick, 17.832. Track is, I guess we have to call it slightly green, and temp should be about right, though. It's been sunny, but cool.
Well, and something else you've been mentioning over the past couple of weeks is that dark streak that's starting to sink in the track as we're now getting more and more laps with that warmer tracker temperature and things on there. So it's going to get better and better as the season rolls on.
Wear that rubber in, get that proper groove.
You know, and now that the temperature's getting up, not just for right now, but actually being able to bake on the track, you know, day after day. We've had some run of good days the last few weeks. So
Hargraves, second quick in his new car, 17.708. So Hargraves in the range now. He and Mark Tunny so far the only ones in that 17.7 or below range.
Douthit able to drive off on his own power, so hopefully that's a good sign there. Maybe he pulled off just for something that didn't feel right or whatever. But as you mentioned,
maybe it was chafing. I don't know.
His dad was the runner-up in the inaugural Phyllis Tunny Memorial.
Good point.
Yeah, he'd like to get his name up in the record books and pick up the victory here tonight.
Big Red Johnson checking in from Long Island up there. Islip Speedway territory. Oh, man. Place I always dreamed of trying to make it to. Had a chance and couldn't quite get there in time. And now, of course, it's too late. Former home of the World Championship Figure 8. In fact, we had a battle of names there for a while with that one. Oh, my goodness. Look who is out for the first time tonight. Who is that in the plain Jane White, number 3D?
Mr. Steve Durham.
The Bull returns.
Durham had to, this is not his regular ride here. He borrowed this machine, kind of an understudy car out of his stables that Andy Shirley.
Nothing parties like a rental.
Piloted early on. We've got the 91 of Chad Sizemore out there, the 87 of Matt Smith. Good to see Jesse Tunny out there in the 57. They've had a tough week after that crash last weekend. They went old school and had the old the pulley from the rollback there and tied things to a tree and the whole 9 yards to pull the frame out on that deal. A little old school action, and got it straightened out. Hopefully ready to rock and roll. Also, we see the 5 of Ben Tunny.
Ben Tunny out there, 4-time winner of this event. Chad Sizemore, 23 winner, and his dad, the winner back in 2007.
Also out there, former winner Jeffrey Shackelford, who won this a couple of years ago.
22 for Shackelford. Matt Smith in the 87, part of the adopted clan. And we talk sometimes about adoptions here at the Indianapolis Speedrome. They sometimes get a little bit interesting. And the idea is some of my families here, basically, they didn't exactly grow up with mom and dad. And one of the surrogate moms was good there all throughout the time for these kids growing up, and that was Phyllis. She ran the latchkey program over at Warren Hawthorne Elementary School, which is basically an after-school program for kids. She ran that for years.
She was my lunch lady over at Warren for a while when I was in high school.
But a lot of these kids out here, if they were a little short of something for hot dog money or pop money, they know they can sidle up to Phyllis, and she'll slip them $1 or $2, so they give them something to eat there, treat, at least not be at the track. Every now and then they might end up spending the night at Phyllis's house with the boys or with the, and for, Bill and Bruce growing up in their teenage years, of course, there was Phyllis's place where you went to party because she'd kept an eye on you. You weren't allowed to go driving if you partied in the wrong way. And so, and I confess, I was of age by that time, but still the stories are strong and the friendship's great.
Well, and there was always a race car in the back garage there at Phyllis, whether it be from back in the day when Bruce and Bill's car was there and then become to this generation, cars would be there. So those kids and friends would come over there and hang out all the time. Sure, probably get them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich over there and, while hanging out in the garage, and just all the neighborhood kids and things. There are a lot of figure-8 racers and stock car racers and things that came from that neighborhood over there, which the house still stands over there.
The house still stands and still got race cars in the garage back there.
That Bill Sr. and Phyllis, Bill Sr. built that with his own 2 hands back in the day when that was the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
I
think they finally did get on the sewer system there. That was one of the things we were always kind of...
That was always weird to me. This side of town was like one of the last neighborhoods that I can remember that got on there.
Yep. If it rained much, you might be sent out to the behind the garage. Keep from taxing it too much. And that's James King was one checking in from Long Island. Should be seeing him here for the 3-hour again. Crossover.
Big figure-8 fan King is. See him posting all the time news and knowledge about the sport.
He is. Been here, met him a couple times. Whoopsie! What is going on here with Chad's 91 and my crossover action? Hot lap action is Chad, and that almost got interesting there. I'm not sure what was up with that.
Looked like a little extra gas there he was giving
I
him
know.
Lay a little message out there at the intersection.
But then these are part of the kids that grew up, they raced their bikes together, but their dads were racing, and now they're racing the figure-8 cars together.
Definitely
Chad Sizemore is the fastest cat, though, 17.473. Shackford gave him 17.5. Durham, 17.6.
Chad might have got a little extra speed on that lap. He was shooting the crossover.
So I got Ben Tunny at 17.719. 6th fastest so far for the day. Mason Hadley just barely out of there, 17.8 for him, that 2 machine earlier. So I've got a couple now in the zone where we need to be.
Yeah, nice compact group there at the top.
And Sizemore wraps it up with a 17.446 as that last run. That makes 21 cars scoring some laps in there, James King. So it'll be a good show coming up here on Speedrome.tv.
And a good mix of folks up there. And you talk about Steve Durham, who's not even been on the track at all this year here at the Speedrome.
That's not even his car. He's in a rental.
Jumps in the backup car, and he's immediately up to speed.
Yep.
And Steve was a guy who was hoping to be here on opening night, but his engine was getting rebuilt, and it was still at the shop, so got a little delay. He thought he was going to be here. He purchased his tires before opening night, and they've been sitting in there waiting for him now for over a month for him to come out on the racetrack. So finally, he showed up this week and said, I can't wait any longer. I'm going to get this car. I'm going racing tonight. he was another neighborhood kid who would pop
Yep.
over to the Tunny garage over there too. So he knew Phyllis.
Yep.
So I think it was important for him to be out here for this race. So he made sure he was here.
Senior Faskarts up next. Senior Faskarts up next. Senior Faskarts, you are up next. Going back some roundy round practice. Nobody else. I think that was not bad. 21 cars so far. Getting some hot laps. A few more strays to come in and have some fun. Chad Sizemore fastest, 17.446. Ben Tunny, second quick, 17.553.
And talking about those car counts, I'm looking on the My Race Pass app. We're up to 21 street stocks here tonight.
Oh, Lordy.
So
Folks,
that's a heck of an early season car count for them.
Share the news, folks. It's going to be a busy night at the Indianapolis Speedrome. Lots of race cars. We've got family, friends. Haven't made a decision yet.
We're up to over 100 cars in the pit area already.
Getting crowded in the pits, of course. And the good news is we got lots of cars, and we got no rain in sight. Knock, 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 knock.
Yeah, last week there was a couple of times during the evening where Mother Nature tried to stick her nose in, and finally she got the best of us at the end. But we got a lot of racing in last week, so before it happened, unfortunately the Ford Figure 8 was the only thing that never hit the track at all.
Yep. Had somebody come up to me and ask, do we give them 40 laps tonight? And the answer is no.
But they do have double duty tonight. They run a full oval program. And then there'll be the Figure 8 to cap things off. And this year we're going back to the scoring points on the oval, scoring points on the Figure 8 separately. So there'll be two champions this season. So this will be the third event for the oval guys, and going to be the first time out for the Figure 8 guys for the Fords as we get ready for Senior Fast Karts. Got some track officials out there taking a look at the surface out there to see if there's anything that needs to be picked up before we send the karts out there.
Somebody spotted a quarter.
Got it. First come, first serve.
Yep.
Rounding out the Outlaw practice, Chad Sizemore, as you mentioned, was on top. Ben Tunny second, Jeffrey Shackelford third, Jesse Tunny fourth, Steve Durham fifth, Mark Tunny, Charlie Hargraves, Mason Hadley, Kevin Brooks, and Mike Riddle rounding out the top 10 speeds of round one of practice for the Hadley Towing and Recovery Outlaw Figure 8 machines.
About 4/10 covering those top 10.
Very close.
Yeah.
And, of course, this being a 75-lap program for the Outlaws tonight, we will have heat race action for those, as well as the return of the Dash for Cash, which the Dash for Cash this year will be the 4 fastest cars from the second round of practice, except for if you've won the Dash already, you're out. Which Dalton Connor's the only one that's won a Dash tonight, but Dalton is up in Anderson running his modified, so we'll have
all this fun.
Yeah, we'll have some new Dash participants here this evening and see who can pick up the win in the Hoosier Lottery Dash for Cash.
There you go. Appreciate you folks coming and joining us. Now, if you are here in person, we are broadcasting simultaneously to our Speedrome.tv network, as well as right now we're on a feed going to our Indianapolis Speedrome YouTube page, and, of course, you good people here in the stands. Appreciate you coming out. Been letting everybody know we have a limited number of Phyllis Tunny Memorial T-shirts and the like for sale in the Indy Screen Print trailer, and that's located outside of turn number 1 behind the main grandstand. If you want to check those out, limited number of those. I know several of the Tunny family members are picking those up early on, but there are still some left they are selling over at the stand. You want to check that out.
I raided that place earlier, Tori.
You did, huh?
I got me an Outlaw Figure 8 shirt. I got me a Ford Division shirt, and I got me a Legend Division shirt, as well as the Phyllis Tunny shirt.
Thanks, son.
So a lot of cool things there to check out, as well as got some clearance rack stuff from last year's 3-hour stuff, so you can pick up a good sale on those.
He's had some good over the dirt track with him last night, and he's got a bunch of the Foyt Enterprise shirts.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen some other Indy 500 type stuff down there, too.
That time of year.
So there's a lot of cool stuff you can pick up down there at the Indy Screen Print Trail. Plus, they got a brand new revised website, so check that out as well.
Got some of that stuff for sale on the website. You can check those out. So those who are listening to us online worldwide, go check out the Indy Screen Print. They got links at the Speedrome pages and the like. Check those out.
You can order and get it shipped right to you.
And get the shirts there. Miss out on them. I don't know if he'll be able to put the Phyllis Tunny because I don't know if there'll be any left by the end of the night.
It's actually on sale on there, but you're right. Okay. Limited supply, so if you want to order those, I'd do that now if you're out of town. Click on that button and go from there.
And good news, looks like the beer stand's getting opened up. And as our shaved ice cotton candy ready for you folks.
Might be the first time all season you're taking advantage of those two things on this nice warm weather out
here. I tell
you,
finally. We do have a reminder. Yes, we have the picnic table set up all around. You're welcome to use those. We just ask, don't park it there. But please, get comfy and have yourself a nice night. Just once again, remember, if you do sit down in front of Mike Heimel's auction house sign, no smoking, or Leslie will come out and get you. And a black flag going out to one of these. Not a whole lot that can be black flagged on these adult Faskarts. In fact, they don't even have the little wheel guards. Well, those are only on the juniors. So I'm not sure what.
But that's usually the first thing you think of is something dragging.
The first when I saw, because they don't have but a little bit of oil in the. These are pull start rigs. Oh, I think no.
Yeah, in the oil situation, usually if there's an oil leak on it, it quickly goes from bad to worse.
Yep.
Such a small motor, know.
Yep, and the fuel tank is between their legs, so they're going to feel that real quick. So
yeah.
It's a leak. So I'm not sure whatever it was, they're happy with it now.
This is their second and probably final round of practice here for the Hankey Marks and Kreider Senior Faskarts.
Going to have Desiree Acree out there in the number 77, her first night out. Going to have some fun with this one. Leland Hargraves out in the 08. Mark Purvis, your defending champion in the 91. Of course, Dale Arms, number 23. Curious to see what Danny Dodge got for us here tonight. That's a young lady that had up and down. Seems like she's showing a lot of promise, and then just seems to night after night, find somebody else's problem out there. So
yeah, a lot of bad luck, not of her own doing.
It is. So looking forward to her finally getting a break that she needs. The 7 of Elvin Acree, of course. Now Elvin is he's what? This is about his 4th different class now. We've had the Factory Frontal Giants.
He was in a Ford last week.
In a Ford.
He's been in the Mini Outlaw before.
Outlaw, and now the adult fast cart. So
well, and his dad is one of the original fast cart guys. Back 10, 15 years ago. So maybe that's where he's going to find his home. So. But maybe it's just the Acree situation where we've seen bunches of them come out here. So come race as a family.
Again, a reminder: don't forget, if you are checking us out on the Speedrome YouTube page, we are going to give away some free tickets to a new subscriber. Whoopsie, and all over was the the 00 machine of Acree, Brandon Acree there. Just got all out of control. And a good example there for you folks in the stands. Got to see the fact there is no suspension in these carts, and once things go wrong, boy, they can go wrong big time.
Yeah, and he caught a break, though. He was turned around there in front of 3 or 4 other carts, and they did a good job of avoiding there and making that even worse. Checkered flag out for this first wave of round 2 of practice.
You can lose a filling over something like that. But wraps that one up. Mark Purvis, our defending champ, still our fast qualifier, our fast time, I should say. And I guess I need to double check if we're going to use the times on this, or we're just having fun with it.
Yeah, we're using the times. Second round of practice, we use the times pretty much across the board except for the junior series. Yeah. So that was about half the carts, I think, that are here right now. So maybe we've split them equally in half here to get times.
Another session for the senior fast carts, and then Fords on the roundy round. A few extra ones of those have shown up since the last time.
Yeah.
This thing's getting a little busy here at Indianapolis Speedrome. Welcome everybody on board. Hi, folks. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, last week with the Fords was an interesting week because we had most of the tracks in Indiana cancel. So we had some visitors here in the Ford division from the Anderson Speedway, from the Mount Lawn Speedway, from down south at the Sportsdrome.
We still couldn't get their ding-dang show. we hoped.
We did get the Oval then, though. There was about 20 cars here for that, so that was a good program on the Oval.
If you're in the outside entertainment biz, it was one of those nights that you just could not catch a break. It was a misty rain that would not turn into real rain, so we could justify calling it, and would stop being that misty rain all night.
You talk about this second round times helping for set lineups in these classes, but it's interesting in the carts. They sort of bunch up in these because maybe they can work together to get a better time of that, where other classes you'll see guys spread out to be able to get a better time. So it's interesting to watch the theories of these guys in this class, whether they want to spread apart or work together.
It looks like we're going to lose one before we get started.
Yeah, one pulled off the backstretch there. Didn't look like any sort of accident situation, just sort of rolled to a stop. Don't know if that's maybe a chain situation or.
Coach, we got Jetty Jones, number 75, Matt Ross, number 62, and the cut down 62. Brooklyn Vinegar's number 87, rookie Marky Griever's 27, Jordan Acree's number 99, Justin Bliss in the 63. And like you said, they're just all inside the bunch together.
And here they go with the green, so
Yep.
we'll see how that works out for them.
Yep. Well, I've had a couple of folks over the years that they pace themselves with the other cars. Now, the problem with that is you want to be running at your maximum, not to the other guys. So.
Yeah, and we see Bliss out there by himself out in front, but then there's a couple bunching up right behind him, so we'll see how that works out.
See if you can't pull something there.
Papa Bliss has been pretty fast here the first couple of outings, so he's going to take off on his own.
And nobody yet challenging Purvis and the rest of the guys at the top of the clock there. Purvis, Leland Hargraves, and Dale Armour still my fast 3.
Something else also different in these karts compared to some of our other divisions, they need to get wound up to get their maximum speed. You know, they just can't hit the accelerator and speed up like cars with V8 engines in them.
Centrifugal clutch on board always acts as a bit of a brake on that sort of thing. Takes a couple laps to get her rolling.
So those lap times get quicker and quicker as each practice session goes on.
Justin Bliss, 63, just got up to a 15.777. Out there coming on for another one. That's third quick so far for this second session. 15 karts in this second session so far.
White flag out for this group.
No improvement there. 15.9 for Justin. A little bit racy there between the 27 of Griever and the 87 of Benniger.
Yeah, Benniger actually clipped the marker down here, so lost a little momentum there as they were sort of battling it out for a position.
And Checkers coming out. And no major changes on the charts. Nope. And that's 15 of the adult fast karts, and did not get a time on the 36 machine of Gavin Bliss, who broke down there just before the time session started.
Well, unfortunately, bad luck for him in this time session, but hopefully if that's the worst thing that happens to him this evening, that won't be all too bad. As we mentioned, he's second in the point standings here heading into night. So they're going to need to tend to that machine. Looks like maybe a couple other karts that didn't get times. I'm seeing 19 entries here on the My Race Pass. So
Ford's on the oval up next. Ford's on the roundy round up next. Ford's on the oval up next. Front gate, back gate, free parking at the Speedrome. All kinds of good things happening out here tonight. Good food, good eats, real life running water. I've got that over a couple of racetracks I've been to over the years. Glad to have you come out and join us, folks, in case you haven't made it already. To our good friends in the stands. Glad to have you with us. Welcome to a Hoosier tradition going back to 1941.
yeah, seen somewhere we've been racing since the 1940s.
Yeah.
But September 7th, 1941 was actually the first official event here at the Speedrome, which is kind of cool because that birthday sort of always falls around World Figure 8 Championship time. So it's kind of neat to celebrate the anniversary of our first event around our biggest event of the season.
Zach Deach is out there in the Orange Crush #2 machine, the 62 of Hayden Garner. Another one of your graduates there from the Fast Karts. 24 of Adam Arrington, Rookie of the Year from last year. 17 of Andrew Brown, multiple championships over the years, 3 times in the factory front-wheel drives, and once or twice now in the Fords?
He's the reigning champion
in the Fords.
Which I don't think he's running for points this season as he's concentrating on his dirt track and his
and
business.
his new car lot. New car lot for him. 139 of James Bird missed out the first session.
First time this season for Bird to be out here.
Oh, okay. And then Holford, of course, who's been the winningest driver on the roundy rounds. Out there in his number 98 machine for Soapy Joe's, and that's Bird. Yep, that's James Bird, all right. All right, that's easy to figure out. 21 of the Hammer.
Bruce,
and 31 of Gully.
Bruce, Harold Bruce looked like he was headed to victory lane last Saturday night. Got caught up with lap traffic there with just a handful of laps left to go, and Holford was there to take advantage and pick up the win. So Harold's looking to get a little redemption there.
Redemption, it's not just for coupons these days.
And I didn't look at the full roster there to see if Harold was doing double duty because, you know, we see him in the street stock out from time to time as well.
I have not seen him in the street stocker yet.
Yeah, he was
He
out.
not hit that practice session earlier, anyways.
Yeah, but he was here a couple of weeks ago in it, so he has ran it this year. But we'll see. Maybe he's just concentrating on one class at a time. As we see almost every night, there's always a handful of folks doing multiple duty driving in different divisions. Tonight, Kevin Brooks double duty.
15-1-3-4 in this session for Brendan Holford's number 98. 15-1-4-8 for Adam Arrington. Nicely matched.
Yeah, and those are the drivers that have finished 1-2 in both the opening events. So looks like that rivalry renewed here in hot lap qualifying.
Take a look at Adam Arrington leading the pack down the backstretch there, right behind the 62 ride of Garner.
Take checkers on their final laps.
Holford's number 98 in the purple and green and white.
Good start for both those drivers who've finished first and second in the first two main events. Definitely the hunted for the rest of the pack here tonight. I think I've seen about 14 or so cars here signed in so far on the Ford Oval class. So one more wave of cars to come out and hot lap qualify. And then what they'll do is they'll take these times from this practice. They'll draw an invert for the heat races. They'll split them in odds and evens, and then invert some of those cars in the heat race, and then race their way for starting positions in the feature out of those heat races.
Nobody likes a straight up start. Alexis Hughes in the zero machine. 29, 29, 29.
Catron, I believe.
Catron, there you go.
Yeah, Zach Catron, who's been here with us the first two
events.
events.
Of the Burkhead.
Yep, these cars I don't think I remember from the first round of practice.
No,
so.
Alexis was with us in the first.
Yes.
First go around.
But Catron's been here both weeks. You know, I haven't seen so far is Mr. Rollover Man, Lonnie Rildrick III.
No, we haven't.
He came back after the opening night rollover and had a decent run last weekend.
I got to see Wendy Burkhead last night on the dirt. Jen told me that she was just thinking about showing up and being part of the fun here tonight.
Haven't seen her yet.
She wanted extra padding on the turn 3 wall though before she was going to come out.
But we do have Jimmy Burkhead out there who runs high up in the points the last couple 3 seasons. Last year a winner on both the oval and figure 8 course.
John Jimmy Burkhead, part of the Speedrome classes off and on for decades now, but also a big part of what goes on down Johnson County, down at the county fairs and the like, Johnson County, Morgan County fairs. Called many times for the demo derbies down there and some of the fun racing and fun games they have down there. So on board.
Our group out here making it convenient for our cameraman as they racing one all together here during this practice session.
Alexis Hughes so far fastest of the group there. Alexis not too bad. Gives a 16.456, 15.090 so far. The best lap was Brendan Holford. And I think it's Stocker's already ready to come out the next group.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, seen 21 on the entry list last time I peeked at it. So our biggest car count of the season so far for the Shelbyville Auto Parts Street Stocks. They'll be coming out to hot lap qualify here in just a minute. Good battle going on there between Burkhead and Catron. Actually trading a little paint heading into turn 3 as Burkhead gets around Catron. That's going to let Burkhead unleash his 54 car, maybe get a little better lap time as they spread out.
Picked up a little bit, up to 15.4 and change, so getting up there a little bit. Fourth quick overall for this second session for the Fords on the roundy round. They come in cold when it's time to do the figure 8, and that's all similar to back in the days we had with our Pro Stock, in that we'll let them qualify and practice everything else on the oval, but for the 8, they get a brief practice session maybe, and that's going to be it. Then we throw them right out there and throw them to the wolves.
Yeah, and we have them scheduled a short practice later in the evening, but depending on how the program goes, sometimes we can nix that practice session and turn them loose on that. So
and that's always one of the things that amazed people about what we do here at Speedrome and have done for decades, and that is run the same car on the 2 different programs. A lot of a lot of kids that have been out here for the last 10, 15 years only know of the figure 8 cars, the Outlaw figure 8 cars running the figure 8. They didn't realize that for decades they ran an oval program, and the figure eight was just another race, just an event added on the end of it, and then gradually that became the key event for the division.
Yeah, and that's what makes it neat for some of these classes, like the Ford. You're still paying your one pit pass to get in, but you're getting to run on two different disciplines.
Yep.
So bang for your buck in those classes.
Yep.
Here come the street stocks.
Justin Green in, that was 1959 Dodge Classic. What was it? I forget what we should decide on that one. 22 of the voice of the South Side, Scott Keene.
Didn't think I saw him in the first round.
He was not. Neither was Sims. So Adam Sims out there in number 68.
Sims, who's been a veteran in this class the last few years, finished up in the top 5 in the points last year.
Very good run last for him. And 92 of James Fleet. 44, your Summers boy. 89, there's your rookie there. Man, the 77 of Emmanuel. 87 of Rex Cox. And we'll hold with that and get to the next one up.
Here comes the green. We'll turn them loose. They'll try to put up their best time here in hot lap qualifying.
We're again, folks, please join us online. We are checking out the brand new YouTube channel. That's where we're going to go live for our Speedrome activities now. It's going to allow us to do a few more things, tracking, including one of the things we'll be able to do. You get the subscription, brand new subscribers coming up to the channel here tonight. Subscribe, and we'll put you in a pool, and somebody's going to win some tickets to Speedrome. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you could, pretty please.
Yeah, and also browse around there on the YouTube. We've put some other content on there the last few weeks, and we've got tons more content that's going to be jumping on there throughout the season. So once you subscribe, it'll be easier for you to find that content and check it out.
Rex Cox pulled the fastest lap in the class, 14.384, and then pulled off immediately.
Might have saved himself for a quick qualifying lap there.
Kyle Summers still having a handful of getting the sea legs back. Justin Green not able to find the speed, 15.145. He's about more than a half second off where he needs to be. In that old schooler going into turn 3, now coming around 4. Right behind him, of course, Scotty Keene's number 22. Cassius Keene there for the victory lane.
Keene, who's finished 3rd in both events we've had so far this year, so quietly got himself up in the points as well.
I don't know who's more surprised, him or us. Glad to see him, though, finally getting the racing car together. Also getting together with got to give a shout out there. Victory Lane Motors doing quite well. One of the top sellers in the Indianapolis area now in his market. So doing quite well. Got a lot that everybody says will not succeed right there on Southeastern. And he seems to be making a go of it this time. As long as he keeps the strays there from coming in and flattening the tires.
Well, you mentioned Rex Cox. He had that one lap in the bag there, and one quick one, and he made it count.
Yep.
He's still topped the boards. Adam Sims 2nd, Kyle Summers 3rd, Keene 4th, and James Fleek 5th. Early on here in hot lap qualifying for the Shelbyville Auto Parts Street Stocks.
And this is going to be for the money. Welcome, race fans. Got them out there hot lapping right now for the stock division. After this one, go over back to the factory front wheel drives, and then into the more figure 8 practice. We march our way into showtime. Scheduled to wrap up practice by about 5:30. About 5:30 to wrap up practice. 5:30 to wrap up practice. Brief drivers meeting if needed, and then opening ceremonies just.
Actually, we're having a senior fast kart drivers meeting right after practice.
Senior fast kart.
And then the Outlaw figure 8 guys have been notified that they're having a drivers meeting after their trophy dash, we have a private chat with them, and we sent out the message to them that they're having that meeting.
Gotcha.
So just the senior fast karts.
So senior fast karts, you will have a drivers meeting after practice has ended. Senior fast kart drivers, you will have a drivers meeting. I didn't get the memo. I never get the memo.
Got a lot of cars out here for this second wave.
A couple of champions and the like. One person we have not yet seen, our defending champion in the stock division. Where is KC Victory?
That's true. Also, someone first time out here is a veteran of the class. Maybe the most starts of the guys out here. The 23 of Kenny McDonough.
McDonough out here back in action.
Been 25 years or so part of the division.
Kenny basically knows this game so well. I think he could pretty much build a car from scratch and not bother practice, and he'd be ready to go.
You know, you mentioned Casey Victory. I'm going to take a little browse. I wonder
Yeah.
if he made a trip up north in the modified.
I can't imagine with as much he's got online. This is home track, his grandpa's home track, his uncle's home track, and everything else. I mean, it's nothing else. I mean,
He is the two-time defending champion.
Of the division. And of course, Sherry Bergen, of course, it will not stand for him not to be here. Just to name drop one of the celebrities.
Might get himself in trouble there.
I'll tell you. Rex Cox, my fast cat, 14.384, but some challenges coming up. Jordan Gonder just hit a 14.482, 4.52. Kevin Smith's tooling around, 14.5 and change. And of course, with the 26 machine of Jordan Hahn out there. Oh, into the wall goes Rackley. Not sure what happened, but he smokes it up into the turn 1 and 2 wall.
And we're going red.
And brings out the red. I missed him actually going up there. Not sure what actually happened to cause that, but boy, he just went skating right up onto the concrete.
Looks like some severe damage there to the right front. The tire's flat, maybe some suspension damage. Don't know if that happened before he hit the wall or it was the remnants.
Yeah,
of
it
hitting
was.
the wall.
It basically went down on him coming up the front stretch here.
So you think if the tire went down?
And he lit him up trying to get on the brakes, got on the binders hard, but it was not going to stop. It just went right into the concrete.
Tori sneaking his own replay right
I do.
there.
I got my Super Secrets replay system.
We'll see if we can pull that up on the main feed right there. As you said, the tire went down or something
Looked like
happened.
the right front went down on him as he was coming out of turn number 4, and
you know,
it wasn't until he hit.
A driver is usually, unfortunately, a passenger at that point.
Yep.
You know, that right front wheel is so important
that's all
on
it
turning the
was.
car.
He locked it up and just skated right up there to the concrete. He's able to glance off a bit.
First time out this season for him, but we saw him have a decent practice there first time around, so don't know what happened there.
He was down there 15.5 for lap times, not the greatest.
But they were really just getting wound up. First lap or two of heavy speed there.
So quick.
I went back to the My Race Pass and looked, and Casey hasn't signed in yet so far for this evening, so don't know if he's running a little late. But you know what? His business is working outdoors with landscaping and yards and things. So with all this nice weather, he might just be running a little late. Might be busy at work.
Got my fingers crossed. Of course, he's on the line trying to win him a third championship.
I did look at the timing and scoring from our friends up north at the Anderson Speedway and did not see him putting a time up there in practice. So I didn't think he was going up there, but, you know, maybe I'd take a peek and see, and did not see him there.
Well, we'll keep an eye out on the
and he can still join the fun and join on there. He just won't have as good a starting spot.
Yep.
But, you know, that may not be a problem with Casey, as he's been to victory lane many times here over the past few seasons.
Indy's Best Towing over there going to get Rackley off the track. Don't know if they're going to try to fix it and can return. That was a pretty solid shot there. And again, same problem we have actually with the factory front wheel drives. Trying to get the stinger on there.
Well, when that tire's flat, you know, the car it puts the car so low to the ground that it's hard to scoop underneath there. I mean, the A-frame and things is probably right on the ground.
But they're getting the straps out and going to run up on the stinger there down to one of the bars there in the front. Now with the stockers, they can do that because it's sturdy front end, it's welded front end, whereas on the factory front wheel drives now, required to run that. Not a whole lot of them.
Especially in these days with the metric cars. But remember back in the old Nova days when it was it wasn't a full frame car. And sometimes hooking up to that front end ended up doing more damage to the car than it did because there was just no full frame underneath there. And sometimes that subframe would pull away if the crash was bad enough, you know. It was always like, I need my car hauled off, but please be careful.
Everybody taking a look at what's inside that thing right now. He's Best Towing going to get sorted out, though. Get it back in there safely. Taking care of that car just like they take care of yours out on the street.
Hopefully, thank them for coming. We thank them for coming out. Hopefully, don't need their services too much this evening.
Like your rescue unit and your ambulance, you hope that they just get sit and watch all night long.
Yeah. Drivers patiently waiting on the front stretch to get back going. I said, a lot of former champions out in this group. We have Larry Hahn, Jordan Hahn, Kevin Smith, all former champions of this class. Many-time feature winner Kenny McDonough down there, and Billy Bart down there in Turn 4 won a lot of races here in the street stock
His
division.
dad was former champion, so there you go.
Yep. So Donnie Scurry, a veteran of many classes out here.
Yeah, you go with that. It's okay.
But been a mechanic to many successful folks out here, helping just about anybody he can. Pitted with his good buddy Lee Schwartz back there. And the 54 machine out of the Gonder stables, out for the first time here in 2025. Not sure if that's Gonder Jr. or Gonder the Third in that ride. We'll have to check the entry list and see if we've got anything new on that, any information. Looks like it's Gonder the Third, which he was a rookie last year, did finish in the top 10 in points.
Had a very good season.
Yep, got some good experience. Jumped straight into the stock division. Didn't run any other classes out here, so he was a raw rookie last year and got some good experience. So first time out in 2025 for him. Looks like we're getting Rackley's machine there finally hauled off. So it won't be long.
Not lost the tire. Might have been something else going on in that right front corner.
Yeah,
locked up the brakes good, but
yeah, it's definitely a skew. But like we mentioned earlier, sometimes it's hard to tell where all that damage was pre-crash or post-crash. But definitely not a good thing. Hopefully they can get that ride fixed back up and out here for the heat races. And that's a good thing on nights like that when you have some damage like that. There are heat races, so you can get the car fixed and maybe use that heat race kind of as a tune-up to make sure everything's all back and square before the feature. Give them a second to get everybody moving here, and then we'll give them the green flag in a lap or so and give them a good chance. Nope, we're going to go green right away.
Not give them a chance at all. Don't let them sneak up on you.
Short track racing, baby.
Yep. See, Jordan Gonder can get the top time here. It's 14.482. Ed Cox at a 14.384. Larry Hahn finally gets some clear sail. Let's see if he can pull it together. He was definitely way down the clock there.
Last year, one of the first seasons in a long time, I remember Larry without a feature win here at the Speedrome. Of course, he didn't race too many times, but still, usually doesn't take too many opportunities for Larry to
had a
get
couple
a victory.
Of those late race out and kept waiting for something to happen, and sure enough, something would happen, and usually the wrong thing to happen to him was the problem.
Yeah. See Smith working the outside there of some guys. Yeah. That's going to hurt his lap time a bit.
Gonder still that 14.482, not improving any.
Coming around to the checkered for Gonder, last opportunity.
Hahn still down to 15 seconds. Jordan and Larry both in the 15-second range. That's not going to make it.
Wrapping up this wave, and we'll look at the leaderboard here.
15.3. Yep, not a interesting outing for everybody on that one. Cox is still on top, that 14.384. Jordan Gonder, 14.482. Kevin Smith gave us a 14.530, and all these coming early in the sessions. Adam Sims, 14.697 for fourth quick. Fifth quick is the only guy who got faster late, and that was Bartholomew. Picked up a 14.806 for fifth quick. And Kyle Summers, the 44, 14.814. Scotty Keene was 14.885 for seventh quick. James Fleek, 14.886. McDonough and Gonder, Joseph Gonder, the 54. And those cats are the only ones under the 15-second mark. About seven others, at least, that didn't get under it. Well, got a few more to come out and see what they can test. There's Jerry Johnson.
Yep.
Almost said Jerry Gordon. Oh, Lordy. Oh, my gosh.
Jerry Johnson may have raced with Jerry Gordon.
I was going to say, well.
Still my favorite Jerry Gordon story is, when he had his stable of cars, when they talked about changing the oil. In his stable, that meant changing the oil from one car to another car. Yeah.
Oh,
Did you change the oil in the 74? Yes, we put it in the 75.
Yep, we got an unnumbered. Curious to see what's going to be. Waiting for the ID to pop up. They're working on it now for You got the My Race Pass.
Let me head to the My Race Pass and see who we're possibly missing here.
And then Billy Pittman's 177.
That possibly is Jay Mertlow, the 09, possibly.
I thought he was out already once this year.
Well, he's the only one I see on here that I don't think I've seen yet in practice.
Because I thought
today.
he brought out his same car earlier that he had last year. Because he was only coming,
Might have got some fresh sheet metal on the side there and haven't got it quite numbered up yet. We'll have to see if that ends up being him.
It's a mystery.
Nice. Mystery man. Maybe you should, when you're the mystery guy, you should just put a question mark
there
on the side of your car.
Don Delvo. It's Don Delvo, ladies and gentlemen. Back in the house. Don Delvo in action here at the Indianapolis Speedrome.
And then, of course, it brings up your favorite quote of which Don Delvo.
Yep.
Don Delvo is almost like a John Doe here at the Speedrome.
Don Delvo is.
Just name him Don Delvo, and then we'll figure it out later.
That was what made it so weird. I mean, he actually go back through the ranks, and you got to start wondering, was that actually? Some tell me there was a Don Delvo.
Yes.
And you're right. It was Jay Mertlow. You are on it. Scott, nice. Man, in the house. That's why he is the D-Stat man.
Mertlow, who started out here in the front-wheel drive division a few years back, has been racing here sporadically in the street stocks the last couple of years.
Sporadic is a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Yep.
Part of the Morgan County Marauders.
Yep.
Come back, no changes. Gives us 20 cars in the second session. Putting in some times and getting their factory front-wheel drives.
Had 21 signed in, but I don't think we end up getting a time out of Rackley there, so that would be the car.
Cody Rackley's your 18th quick.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So then there's one that we didn't get a time from. We'll have to tag them onto the tail of the heat race.
Mm-hmm.
And still the mystery of Casey Victory.
Yep. Interesting situation.
Not only has he been the champion the past couple of seasons, I'm having trouble remembering the last time he missed a race, probably in the last 4 or 5 years.
Good point.
Well,
it is Mother's Day. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Mama said you're going to stay home.
I don't know. That family's been here for a long time, so it's hard to imagine that Mom would keep them away from the racetrack.
He did lose his mom, Tina Victory, passed a few years ago.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of folks here know his grandfather, Billy George, being much. Casey getting his start running the Roadrunner division back when, and then getting a ride in the modified division with the whole stable that Billy George had put together.
Yeah.
Which was basically all uncles and friends.
We were this week in the pit office thumbing through some old pit boards from the first year that I started doing the pit boards, which was 2004. And on the cover of one of the early editions was Casey Victory winning a Roadrunner race there. So we were taking a look at young Casey there.
Yeah. And there wasn't much difference, was there? He's got
he's not aged a lot.
He's a bit grayer, but that's about it.
Yeah. Here come the front-wheel drives for their hot lap qualifying.
Braden Eversole back in the 00. Chris Knapp in the number 5. The 51, Jessica Bush, first time out today. 975. 97S will go with Jeff Lynch. There we go. The tribute car to Dean Griffin. 13 of Jaden Steele is very good the first round. Doug Underwood having a good season in number 17. And the number 61 of Junior Catron. And the 333 of Zach Hall out on the track in this group.
Jessica Bush, who we didn't see in the first round of practice, but second night out of the season. But last time out, they had transmission issues, and Lee Schwartz, crew chief on that car, told me about that they had to take 2 or 3 transmissions over at the shop and sort of take one half of this one and one part of this one. Kind of a mutt transmission there, but hopefully that's what's needed to get Jessica back out here. She's been quick the past few seasons, had some tough luck, but hopefully gets a good run in tonight.
Real good one, though. Always there at the end of the night. If you want to get a chance to meet a racer up close, she'll be one of the folks that sticks around. Glad to talk to you.
Green flags out here for the front-wheel drives.
Again, for those missing out on it, we are live worldwide. Speedrome.tv as well, of course, live right here on the east side of Indianapolis. Glad to have you join us, folks. You got folks that have made up their mind. Great night to come out and join some racing with some great weather. And some great people in the stands, which is you folks. We are live worldwide on the Speedrome YouTube page for the first time. Checking that format out, that platform. Jeremy Huff there's taking a peek at us from Mooresville, Indiana, for example. And I'm waiting for him to ask how many Outlaw cars are here tonight. That's usually his first question. But My peanut gallery, find a new home over here on the YouTube page. And don't forget, if you are new to us here, make sure you subscribe. New subscribers from tonight will go into a pool to win us some tickets here to the Speedrome. We'll announce those later on. Let them know through the system there that you're on board. And get you in here to come see these things live and in person. Of course, tonight is the 75-lap Phyllis Tunny Memorial Figure 8, 23rd annual. Whole slew of Tunnies on hand for that one, including a couple special guests coming on board here for tonight's program. So it could be an interesting time. Reed never saw down to a 15.161. Not seeing the whole bunch of those 14-second laps that have plagued this division here in recent past. Now, we did see a couple pop up last time or two, but they've been hit or miss, and by the guys you know basically have it figured out. But I think it definitely has created a pretty good bout of parity among these factory front-wheel drive cars.
Yeah, good to see out of this division. It's still an entry-level class, and that's what, some people along the way have sort of lost their way on, and we're happy to see these folks out here joining us in a relatively inexpensive division.
Be excited to hear Zachary Hall second quick after Eversole. Eversole gave us that 15.161. Zachary Hall, that white 33.3 machine there. Looks like a pizza delivery van. 15.234 for that one. And Charles Catron, Junior Catron, pardon me, in the 61 gave us a 15.409. Well, he spent season after season being the bridesmaid, but finally got that championship. The 20 machine, Scott Stewart Jr. out here, and he's been the fellow that has been able to keep the speed going. He's figured it out. All those years of chasing Andrew Brown and the like there pays off. Finally gets his own championship by rights, but he's been the fastest cat here this year.
Yeah, this second group, not only Stewart, but a few other folks that we haven't seen yet so far in practice. Scott was your feature winner last time out. Well, anxious to see. It's gotten all those mechanical bugs.
64, Don Van Valkenburg III returns. There you go.
First time out this season. He and Harmon, I believe, were teammates. I don't know. I think they still are out of the same stable.
15J of, let's see, Justin Dodson out there for, I believe, his third night or so. 177 of Jacob Daniels. There we go. Sorry, Jacob. Didn't mean to slight you.
Yep.
Mentioned already Lillian Morgan. The 50. Is that Morgan or is that Chris? It's Lillian. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I think the 22 machine is the first time we've seen that car out today. That is
Nathan Dalton. Nathan Dalton on that one.
I think it's a newcomer period. I don't remember that name.
Now, I ran with one up in the Muncie area there. Fell by that name. Ran with some of the roundy rounds and demo derby stuff I was doing up there.
Well, then I'll look on the entry story. We'll see if we can get a hometown here. See if that can help us out.
And the 75 machine of Devin Matthews also on the track in this group.
This one says from Indy, Nathan Dalton.
Okay.
So maybe just a
new Nathan Dalton. We have a new Nathan Dalton.
Maybe that's the new Don Delvo.
It could be
that name.
We're open. We're hiring. So it's
18. It looks like 18 entries on the My Race Pass app for the front wheel drives. So nice field here. I think that may be the biggest car count so far this season.
I know one name we haven't seen much here lately. Richard Long hasn't been around here. He used to be a regular part of every division out there.
Yeah.
Richard Long. Yeah.
Yep. Been a minute, but definitely a name I remember.
Yep. That's because you waited for the announcer to say it wrong.
Another person we haven't seen today yet is Missing Data.
Good point. Missing Data has not yet made an appearance here tonight. A couple folks out there checking us out on the YouTube page. Appreciate you being on board. Some new ones. If you are new, hit the subscribe button. Chance to win you some free tickets here.
Getting the checkered flag here on this front-wheel drive practice.
Stewart does get it under the 15s, barely at 14.918. Eversole sold second on the 15.161. Zach Hall, 15.223. Don Van Valkenburg got the fourth quick, 15.282. And Travis Harmon, fifth quick to 15.309.
Didn't take long for Van Valkenburg to get up to speed. He's been around here many, many times. One of the leading feature winners on the oval and the figure eight
Yep.
and the front wheel drives here at the Speedrome.
Looking forward to some figure eights in these factory front wheel drives again.
Yeah.
As many people at other tracks are wondering why we have not. We actually had a regular division for those years back, and it just kind of seemed to be, if I recall, it got kind of out of hand for everybody. So curious to see if we do a couple special events, keep them as a fun run type thing.
Yep. That'll do it for the front wheel drives and
our
ovals.
Yeah. And yep. Back to figure eight practice coming up next. Mini Outlaw figure eight, Mini Outlaw figure eights up next. Mini Outlaw figure eights. Mini's going to have them a 40-lap Mini Outlaw figure eight run here tonight. So big race for them as well as that 75-lap Outlaw figure eights.
Yeah, and so far they've ran a couple of 40-lap figure eights so far, and both of them have been very exciting and battling all the way down to the finish with some veteran drivers and a lot of new figure eight first-timers. So definitely exciting, and good to see them having the great car count as a lot of folks supporting that division this season.
And ladies and gentlemen, in the stands here, got about a half hour left scheduled for the practice session. Do full session here for these mini late models on the 8, and then as well a full session for the Outlaws. And that's going to be the interesting one to see, get a final count on who's actually here and ready to go for that tonight's 75-lap Phyllis Tunny Memorial. There might be a little bit of a downtime then before we get into the meet and greet section and the start of the Outlaws Dash for Cash. During that time, at the end of practice, there will be a senior fast kart drivers meeting. Senior fast kart drivers meeting in the pit office garage. Senior fast kart drivers meeting in the pit office garage at the end of the practice session. So we will go quiet here on the PA, kind of get things rolling. Of course, be some dead time for those of you watching on the speedrome.tv. And that'll be about time to wrap up the YouTube feed if I've got the rules correct. And so just to give you a heads up on that on the schedule coming up. Plenty of time still left to squeeze in some good practice here. Half hour left of the practice session. Again, the game plan for this one is go with the practice session first for the mini late models on the 8th and the Outlaws on the 8th. And then shut down practice. Go quiet at the track so we can have a driver's meeting for the senior fast kart drivers in the pit office garage. And then get everybody out and ready to go at 5:55 or so for a welcoming and national anthem, and then right into the Outlaw Figure Eights Dash for Cash.
Just looked at the rosters for this. 15 mini Outlaws signed up here, so that's right about where we've been here so far this season, and plus a couple of guys who look to join us from Anderson later. Could be up to 17 cars here for feature time, and then so a great field for them. We'll probably split them in half here for this hot lap qualifying, and as we mentioned, new tires for the division here, the Cobra Racing tires. So we'll see how that stacks up with their times from early on in the season.
40-lap figure eight for these guys later on tonight. 75 for the Outlaws.
Yeah, great.
25 for the Fords even. So 3 figure eight races here tonight to make up the part of the feature events. 25 laps for the factory front drives on the roundy round. Street Stockers doing 25. Ford's doing 25 on the oval, and senior fast karts also 25s on the oval. So plenty of good features, tons of racing still to come. It's not even close to it, haven't even started yet. We are taking these times for qualifying times to line up the heat races. But Dash for Cash and all that other stuff starts. Trophy Dash, as some would call it. That kicks off at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and you know, we've mentioned that these mini Outlaw cars run on the oval and figure eight. Tonight's a figure eight only program, so that means that we're going to have heat races for the Outlaws on a regular quote-unquote night for these folks. They run oval and figure eight, so there wouldn't be any figure eight heat races. But since they're running the one discipline here tonight, we're going to run heat races, and that'll lead us into that 40-lap main. So those heat races serve as another great test and tune time for those guys to work up on the setups as the evening goes along and get ready for tonight's feature event. And it looks like this group is sort of forming their own heat race here as they're all in one big pack.
One came out leaking a little something, and so they sent him back off the track, and that's what they're cleaning up right now. One of those deals, somebody didn't tighten up something before they left the pit. And
well, it's good they noticed it before they got under speed, though. Yep. That could have been bad for that competitor as well as the other competitors out there with them.
Especially at that spot. That's the braking spot there for that left-hander there coming around, wrapping up turn 4 of the 8. and heading for the flag stand turn number 1.
So track crew going to address that immediately.
Using a combination, now a lot of people say, what do you put on your spills? We have basically said on mostly using cement dust. And that's, like you see, there is a supply of the crushed clay kitty litter, which works in some situations, especially when you got a large amount of water type things and the like. But for an oil type stain, just put the cement dust seems to work the best out there for cleaning it up.
Well, some of these motorcycle engines that are in these cars run more of a synthetic thing, so it's a little slicker than normal oil, and the cement dust sometimes is a little dustier to the fans, but it does a lot better job at soaking that fluid up as opposed to the kitty litter.
Yep. Kitty litter tends to just scatter on top, and especially, and this will also be the situation you run into in the cold days. If you're racing on those cold days, boy, you put that kitty litter on anything, it was just a waste of time, it seemed.
Yeah,
but,
almost made it a recipe for ice.
Yep. But, no, pretty easy to clean it up. The fending machine had pulled straight off the racetrack again, so.
Yeah, and that might be a deal. If it was something that was just loose, we might see that car even back out if that's something they could fix, if it's nothing major. So.
Yep. Don't think there's anything serious. I think they spotted the problem right away and just eased on into the pits there and got things taken care of.
Luckily, we were time-wise, I think, a little bit ahead of the game for our rotation of practice. So they'll get this cleaned up quickly here from the guys in the track crew there in the yellow truck with the Mattingly Concrete sponsorship on the side of it. So we mentioned 15 of these mini Outlaws signed in here so far this evening. And then coming up, the Outlaws next. I seen 22 last time on the sign-in sheet there on the My Race Pass app. Those of you on that app can check that out as well.
Busy. Yep. If you had a chance to do so already, the My Race Pass, the app we're using now for our scoring devices, we used to use Race Monitor. Switch over to My Race Pass. Had a bunch of pluses you don't get with Race Monitor. That includes things like rosters, lineups go up here on that. Really neat little operation to use.
You can look at guys' previous results from previous events, the point standings, and even when you go on the point standings, you can click on an individual driver, and it will break down how they made points so far this season, whether it be the heat race and the features. So a lot of cool stuff you could do there on the My Race Pass app that you couldn't on Race Monitor, which was just basically broadcasting the lap times.
49 machine is out there. That is Steve Vickers, of course. Ton of wins already in this division, plus over his career, a ton of street stock wins and pro stock wins even. 22 of the little jalapeno, Jackson Navarro, one of the youngsters in the division, graduating out of the junior Faskarts. 12 machine of Victor Rybolt. Strange not seeing him with that 71, I think.
Yeah, it's because he's driving one of the house cars for Rick Gardner from K&R Medical.
I know, but
and that's Rick's number. So,
yeah.
But you're right, not seeing him. But 72's close. So
72. There you
need
go.
to add a little bit to that one right there, and all of a sudden we've got 72.
And of course, Mild Coffee. That's Miles Kofer in the number 27. And Rodney Smith. And that's a kind of a hoot for those of us who've been around here for a while. Smith family, of course, goes off old Bill Smith there, and not much of a driver himself, but always in support of races. And then his boys came on board, Rodney, Tim, and I'm missing one. Yeah, he's one of our stock class champions, I thought. And I apologize to the Smith family now. I just sliding. I lost the Smith brother.
Did you say Billy?
Billy, thank you.
Yeah,
well,
Billy.
yeah, old man Bill and then Billy. There we go.
Yeah. Billy was the stock champion. Rodney was the Pro Stock Rookie of the Year and also champion of the Legends.
Legend cars, yep.
And won some national and regional championships as well in the Legend cars. But old Pro Stock guy for us old-timers.
Yep. Back out here, retread, you might say.
Yeah.
Going to give it a shot, see what he can do. He's out there in the number 88.
I think he had a few runs in the modified division as well, if I'm remembering right.
And now I'm looking for, I don't have an 8, I got a 63. So I think my 88 is my 63, so.
But definitely out of the Arthur stables, though.
Yep, I was going to say, I think I might have been a little dyslexia there when they registered him.
Yeah, that is definitely the car that Arthur drove the second in the points last year, the orange machine there. But nice to see Rodney Smith back in action.
Yep.
Been quite a while since we've seen him here. And
actually, the greatest presence of the Smith family here the last couple of years has been Rodney's daughter, Jerica, who's a major proponent of this division there as part of the Third Turn Performance group over there.
Yeah, it does a lot to work with this division on scheduling and parts and service.
And a long-time major part of Ben Tunny's crew.
Yeah.
And just another example of one of the kids that just have grown up out here.
Yeah.
And in this case, she turned her skills towards the turning wrenches and running the team.
Yeah, and we talk about generations around here, and it's not just the drivers. It's car owners, it's mechanics, it's other crew members, sponsors. You know, the Speedrome's a multi-generational thing out here, and it's very cool to see.
Yep. 18.867 for Steve Vickers, fastest lap, the only one under the 19-second mark. But the little jalapeno, 19.034 second quick for Jackson Navarro on that 22 ride. Pretty good run for him.
Yeah, and that's a youngster, as you mentioned, former junior Fascart champion who has relatively little experience on the figure eight compared to a lot of the other folks. So it's exciting to see him gaining speed and learning the craft of the figure eight, and hopefully we'll have him around for a long, long time on the figure eight.
He ran last year, and he was allowed to compete and run the best he could on the ovals. But he's under instructions to play it, back off, stay away if it got heavy, don't get into the eights too much.
Yeah.
And they cut him loose here in 2025, and he's doing a pretty good job out there so far.
Yeah. Yeah, good to see him up to speed. When Pops, retires back there, maybe he'll take over the reins as being the lead driver in the stable.
There you go.
But he's done a great job over his young career here at the Speedrome, and probably wouldn't be surprised to see him in victory lane here in the minis here soon. And set for the next wave of minis out here.
Yep. Saw another stripe there they're going to work on there on the off-track section, so get that cleaned up. Again, the schedule is to get through these practice sessions for the mini late models, then one for the Outlaw figure eight cars, and then have a driver's meeting for the adult fast kart division right after the end of Outlaw figure eight practice.
When we're talking about the My Race Pass app, that's another cool feature of that. The classes that have already finished their practice sessions can go on the My Race Pass app, as well as you at home can click on that and already see the starting lineups for those heat races already being populated and put on there. So, the old days of we still hang the lineups up on the board, on paper, but, you don't have to wait for that now. It's already calculated in there and pops up on there. So you
folks at home now and in the stands can follow along with the My Race Pass and actually be able to check that out. In the past, we would go run up to the fence where you're starting at.
Yeah.
And somebody from the inside would holler out, where they're at and back and forth. That's how you'd know what heat they were in. Now you can actually go on the My Race Pass and find out. And it's just
it
allows you in the stands able to be part of the activities.
Yeah, they also have a fantasy racing game on there, which I haven't dabbled in
I
yet.
haven't.
But
I'm afraid to touch. I have all my own little fantasies. They don't usually.
Yeah, one week
racing.
we'll have to play with that, Tori, and see what that goes along. But I've heard people competing about picking drivers in there and competing against their friends and stuff. So that's probably a lot of fun.
Now my wife wouldn't want to hear about my fantasy racing game, and there's Kim Gibson, and there's another one.
But
yeah, there we go. Kim, if you ever listen in, we love you, girl. But appreciate everybody here, folks. Hey, you filling in? I'm glad to have you with you. Don't forget, I don't have anybody in Mike Heimel's section yet, but if you do sit in front of Mike Heimel's auction house sign, don't be smoking or drinking or vaping or stuff like that. Got your concessions open all the way around. Get things rolling there. If you have not been here before, really want you to come get a chance to walk on around. Head on over to behind the main grandstand. If you haven't already, go visit the Indy Screen Print trailer. I'm not sure what the count is at this point on those Phyllis Tunny Memorial shirts. Let's see what happens there. But
if you want one, I would be getting down there and getting one. Especially when we finish practice here. We're going to have that little bit of time before the racing starts this evening at 6 o'clock. So that'd be a great time to pick up on one of those shirts and then stop by the concessions on the way back to your seat and get you some refreshments. So take advantage of that time before the racing competition begins.
Going to have the number 3 machine of Kevin Brooks, 07, back out again. That, of course, is Timmy Smith, part of the clan, the 81 Nathan Arthur.
28 of Ray Hobson.
That's right. Hobson, I keep forgetting out there. My apologies. Ray.
Yeah,
and
the 33 of
Ray's
Jeff
mom.
Smith.
Jeff Smith, that's been an interesting change for me. I'm curious to see how he does. If ever there's a guy that I keep crossing my fingers for, and boy, I end up want to check the emergency room, see if he's all right. But it seems like he's always wants to try to be part of the game, and it just bad luck has a habit of finding him and just dumping on him hard.
Yeah, hopefully he can make this division a new home for him. The former street stock champion here at the Speedrome.
Street stock champions. He's had a couple good runs, and had late model cars and lasted a little bit. But
also out there in this practice is last year's Rookie of the Year, Kyle Norris.
Yep. Norris, I'll tell you what, that's another fun to watch the transition into a figure 8 driver.
Yeah. The 85 of Garrett Fox, who's won a chunk of legend races out here, and this is only his third figure 8 ever here tonight, and he's finished in the top 5 of the first 2, so exciting start for him. I see the 36 of Mike Coop, speaking of longtime veteran. Pretty neat to see he and Rodney Smith as far as old school legend guys.
And
here
Billy
out there.
Smith.
Yeah, yep, out here in the minis. And then we're off and running here in this second round of practice.
And that they're going to be out there running up against literally teenagers.
Yeah.
And, just a fascinating mix of old champions, raw rookies.
Yeah.
Hobson's played off and on with a couple of different types of cars here, and really taking a big leap on that.
Famously around here with a Pro Compact, I believe, is where we've established that. His regular claim to fame as he's joining us for the second time in the Mini Outlaws.
And Kyle Norris second quick so far, just 2 100s behind what Vickers was setting. Vickers had an 18.867. Kyle Norris, 18.887.
I believe Norris finished on the podium last time out, so good run for him, and he's off to a fast start here this afternoon.
These are purpose-built race cars from the ground up, built just behind the backstretch of the Indianapolis Speedrome with their third turn performance. Some are actually, though, sent in kit form to the individual owners who put their own together, give them that freedom. I don't think we've had any yet built from the ground up. Whoa, getting a little close. From the ground up on their own, but they are set up with a...
They're not actually allowed to build them.
There you go. Now
as far as the base chassis. Once you build the base chassis, you can do all the assembly for that. And you could buy them completely over there. You can buy the base chassis and put it all together yourself. And many ways in between over there, whatever you want to do there.
And already having a used car market for them, too, as a matter of fact, and that's been built. But the drivetrain is similar to what's used... because I can't say the same. Similar to what's used in the legend cars.
I think last I heard is around 30 chassis have been built so far. So we've seen like 18 or 19 of them so far this season. So still a few out there getting assembled, and we could see them out at different times.
See, a couple of the body work has been done, somewhat individualized. People can do their own. They can do it themselves or they'll do it over at third turn.
Couple guys from this final group snuck up there to the top. Garrett Fox, quickest overall. Kyle Norris second.
Got her in the 18.6s there. That's a good little run there for.
And the veteran Vickers third. So a nice mix of drivers right there. As we wrap up them, I don't think there's any more left.
Yep. It's outlaw figure 8 cars, outlaw figure 8 cars, outlaw figure 8 cars. This will be your final practice session. Final practice session coming up. Attention in the pit area. Senior fast kart drivers only, please. Your driver's meeting will be at the end of this practice session in the pit office garage. Senior fast kart drivers, your driver's meeting will be in the pit office garage at the end of this practice session. We'll go quiet there for a little bit, take a bit of a break on the PA, and come back out for opening ceremonies about just a little bit before 6 o'clock this evening. So this will be the final practice session here for the night.
First out there in the 12 machine is former division champion Mike Riddle Jr., also former winner of the spring shootout. Last year, podium finisher overall in the points, the 51 of Lee Schwartz.
Schwartz with a heck of a season last year. Really, really earned a lot of respect from everybody. Just a solid season all along for him.
Next out, one of our rookies there, the 03 machine of Ricky Schaefer III. The 15 of the veteran Dennis Sloan, and son Anthony there in the 32.
Yep. Another one's going for the Perfect Attendance Club. Of course, the one that's got me really tickled is going to be Robbie Greenwell in that 40 machine. Youngster coming out of the Sportsdrome. And as you were telling us before, willing to sacrifice a good shot at a big win there in their twin 45s they're having for their modified figure 8 division, which is similar to these, but still, I believe, based on a stock chassis, not quite as exotic, we'll call it, as our Outlaws. But in appearance, look very much like our Outlaw figure 8 cars. Robbie says, nope, he's going to run the Phyllis Tunny race.
Yeah, we're going to explore here on the My Race Pass, and we'll see if he's got somebody piloting his car down there.
There you
tonight.
go. Also on the track, the Zero Machine of Jillian Lepedo, and we just can't stop talking about her, bragging on Jillian's successes in this sport. Of course, like you heard, a young lady making the transition from being a teenage stock car with the big boys on the figure 8 out in California, Washington State, West Coast Racing. And then she and her father making the move out here to Indianapolis.
And actually, right now, Dad's back home in Washington.
What?
Taking a couple of weeks going back there to handle some business there.
I was going to say, yes, I saw he's posting up his motorcycles and other stuff for sale again. He's a hustling, ain't he?
Yeah. So even though she's moved here, she's from Washington. So we have a Kentucky driver, a Washington driver, and some Indy folks here on the track just in this first wave.
Yep.
And Riddle out of the Anderson area formerly, now lives in Greenwood, so he was a former veteran of that track. So a good mix of folks here in this first group.
And I do see our buddy Dylan Douthit in line there for this next practice session. He's the one that came out there for the first one, barely made it around, and parked it on the backstretch with some engine problems, something going wrong. So it looks like Dylan may have his problems worked out.
It's good to see.
For him. Riddle, my fast cat, 17.797. He's in that 17.7 range he needs to be in. 17.87, just picked up by 100th of a second. Let's see, where's Greenwell? Greenwell trying to crack into the 17s at this point, 18 double aught.
3 cars so far in the 17s between Riddle.
There we go, Riddle, 17.399. Was that his bonsai? Yeah, I thought I heard that squeal.
Wow. Schaefer up to the 2nd spot there.
Still, a little shy of my 17.7 window, but I think Ricky, I don't know if he's going to get that big win here in 2025, but he's definitely a good shot at Rookie of the Year. But, boy, we got such a solid group of rookies.
Yeah.
Lepedo.
Yeah, Lepedo, Schaefer, Kevin Brooks.
Man.
Hopefully later this season we're probably going to see Jaden Durham.
Good point.
Join us in that.
And Durham showed some promise. I just came out on the Fords last year. It showed he can run the X. Up there we go. Big race. And, of course, the Bulldog's going to be here. Bobby Whitaker in the house.
Yeah, first time we've seen him on the track here today.
Yep. Then he's making practice. That's big.
Yep. Also out there, the 37 of Ben Limbach. As you mentioned, Dylan Douthit, in the 21. The 3T of Mark Tunny. And there's Charlie Hargraves in that brand new 74 ride that was fairly fast there in that first session. He was in the top 5, I believe. Jesse Tunny out there in the 57. Ben Tunny joining us.
Yep. And Charlie Hargraves, that new car, the 74 machine.
Beautiful car.
It is gorgeous. Charlie always makes a good one.
Mason Hadley out there in the Deuce. He was a figure 8 feature winner last season.
And Mason also comes, I guess he comes in, we always talk about the Tunny family. Mason kind of gets to be a kind of distant cousin of it. His brother, Mike Hadley, married into the family there.
Yeah, but the Hadleys, though, he comes from a lineage of figure 8 racing from the Clark family. Bob Clark, one of the, I think the first crew chief inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Like I always say, we don't have a family tree. We just got a line of bushes down the side of the garage.
Yeah. These guys are wound up, cranking up some speeds, and we'll see how they mix in with those lap times.
6.7. Mason, 6.78. I got 3 of them in the 17.7. I got 3 of them in my golden window. So track those probably a little bit hot for these guys right now. And the tires not quite warming up. They're still with a new set of tires for these guys, basically.
Yeah.
And doing a new system there with these tires are being impounded, being controlled. There's not as much shenanigans with tires that we've seen in years past.
And you have tire limits. Like this is a 2 new tire race, so you're only allowed to buy a maximum of 2 new tires for this event. And then there are 2 used tires that they're running were kept in the garage from last weekend's event. So they've been in impound all week long. So these guys getting a chance to work them in as the day progresses.
And here we go. More folks are getting into my 17.7 window there. 17.644, Charlie Hargraves just now. Ben Tunny gives the 17.567. Jesse Tunny, 17.572. A few more getting in there. 17.399 for Riddle, another bonsai run.
Mark Tunny threw
Mark
it
Tunny.
in there.
17.117 for Mark Tunny on that bonsai run. That's Riddle was previous.
Wow.
I heard the squealing tires and some of the times changed.
He trapped cousin Ben up there.
Well, see, Ben was doing the same thing at the same time, 17.189.
Yeah.
So Mark was doing a 17.117 for his bonsai. Ben Tunny, 17.189 on his. Riddle previous on his bonsai was 17.399. Jesse Tunny, 17.572 for his sixth and final lap. Charlie Hargraves gave it 17.644.
Yeah.
Mason Hadley, 17.727. All these, well, Mason has actually a 7th of 9 lap.
Let me tell you something cool about the top five right now.
Yep.
Mark Tunny driving a T8 race car, number one. Second is Ben Tunny, who's driving the new style of chassis that he's building now over at Third Turn. Third on the list is Mike Riddle, who has one of the old style Third Turn chassis over there. Fourth on the list is Jesse Tunny. He drives one of the Smith chassis out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Yep.
And then we have Charlie Hargraves, who has the very first chassis that Audi Moose has built now that he's no longer with Third Turn Performance. So 5 guys, 5 different style chassis right now on top of the board. So that's very cool as we see the third wave of cars coming out. Parity, I love it.
Yep.
And as you mentioned, a lot of them speed-wise up there in that 17-second bracket as the track gets better and better as the season's third event now is going on for the Hadley Towing and Recovery Outlaw Figure 8 cars. Out in this group, the 17 of Corey Harmon, the 87 of Matt Smith, the 28 of Jeffrey Shackelford, the 3D of Steve Durham. We have the 3 of Kevin Brooks and the 91 of Chad Sizemore, along with the 27 of Christopher Gray out there in this group. We'll see who can move up and crack those times. 22 now taking times. That's all the cars that were on the entry list. So everybody's got out and is going to have an opportunity to put a time on the board.
And people wondering, that makes 22, 22, 22.
Yeah, and these guys are going to do the same thing just after this session is over with in this group. The fast qualifier will draw a pill, which will invert cars in the heat races, and then they'll race their way for starting spots into the feature from there on. So, and they'll also be looking to sync up 4 cars for the Dash for Cash.
So, as you called it, an interesting mix of of manufacturers now, and that's something not to be unexpected when you figure back in the day these cars were homemade. Red flag out, and we got one up against the wall. I missed that one. So, man, is that Matt? I think that was Matt Smith's number 87 heading up into the concrete there.
Yeah.
So,
couldn't tell what happened there.
He climbs out and tosses the wheel, so.
Thankfully he is out and okay, but I'm not sure about the car.
Immediately climb out to look at the damage on that right corner.
You know, seeing him up against the wall reminds me of last week and reminds me of someone we haven't seen yet when we were talking about rookies, Johnny Hargraves Jr.
Johnny Hargraves, good
He
point.
ended up in that spot last week during hot laps and with some damage to the car, and we haven't seen him out yet today. So,
no view on Speedrome TV what happened, but the way he's immediately getting into the car and waiting trying to get hooked up, Matt must be thinking he'll be able to get it fixed. Now, he will still have a time to apply.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not a good one, though, as they were just getting up to speed there.
Well, if he can get a really, really big number for the invert, he can hope for that one.
Yeah, and that's the opportunity. He's going to have a chance to improve his starting position in the feature during the heat races. So hopefully nothing too severe. And, of course, first thing you think of when you have these wrecks, was it something, what caused it? You know, was it a brake situation, a tire situation? And where he's at right there, it's almost like a straight run in there. So he didn't get much of a chance to turn the car that much.
Nope.
So hopefully he scrubbed off some speed before he got to the wall.
Going to climb in to hold the clutch in while they get that pulled off the track, get that over to the pits, get that worked on. Looks like we're looking at Dash for Cash at this point. That could very well be 3 Tunnies and a Riddle. Mark Tunny, Ben Tunny, Mike Riddle, and Jesse Tunny.
Which all 4 would be former champions of this division.
There you go.
1 championship for Mark Tunny, 4 championships for Ben Tunny, 1 for Mike Riddle, and 5 for Jesse Tunny.
Yep.
So we'll see if any of these folks, but Chad Sizemore's out in this group. I wouldn't be surprised if he cracked up into that top 4.
In his, and of course, Brooks is always going to be a secret weapon. Anything we got going on this year. Shackelford.
Absolutely could crack into that top 5. The reigning series champion. So, yeah, I wouldn't lock that 4 down yet. This group here, as we mentioned, was just really getting up to speed for its first hot lap or 2 before that red flag came out. So they're going to get another chance to put 4 or 5 more laps on the board.
Get these rolling already. For those of you with the My Race Pass, do go ahead and look through that one. You'll find the lineups up for you already being posted for the heat races and the like. Chevrolet Auto Parts Street Stock heat races are posted on the My Race Pass app. Getting ready to go. Again, a reminder in the pit areas, adult fast cart drivers, please start making your way to the pit office garage for your pit drivers meeting. We'll wrap that up at the end of this practice session. There will be, again, a brief quiet period here on the PA while that drivers meeting is going on as best we can. Try to stay quiet and get ready for Dash for Cash. So a bit of a break here. 4 guys from this late model division go out to set up for the Dash for Cash. I'm now watching. I don't think the track contributed to what happened to Matt Smith, but I watched a little bit light up. They were hitting that. Remember we had that liquid come off the mini late models.
But those guys had some really fast laps in that group before it, so I don't think that.
Well, in fact, Jeff Shackelford just got your 3rd quick time, bumped his way into the Dash, 17.249.
And you mentioned I didn't see any sort of cleanup after Matt's wreck there, so I don't think he dropped anything.
He did not lose any fluid. Nope. My buddy Corey Harmon, Big C, 17.9. Just need to pick up a little bit more. That's what I'm seeing there. It's coming off the left side of Steve Durham there as he's smoking into it. Here's an interesting crossover. Eat up. Yep. A little bit smoky smoke on the brakes. So let's see what we do for the final bonsai. Shackelford second quick, 17.157. So it's going to be Tunny, Shackelford, Tunny, Riddle. Your champion's still up there.
5 champions on the property there, Tori, and look what we got. 1 through 5.
Well, Jeff just took a little half lap to get an 11-second lap, but it just got corrected. So
yeah, but that, talk about cream rising to the top. 5 champions from the division on hand and
top 5.
Top 5.
Yep.
That'll do it for practice and hot lap qualifying there, Tori.
Yep, and folks, glad to have you on board here with this inaugural day on the YouTube channel for Indianapolis Speedrome. Please, please, please click the subscribe, click the likes, share it with your friends, let them know what's going on. Speedrome's going live on the YouTube channel for the next for the season now. Loving lots of stuff. Check it out. Lots of content, lots of fun.
Yeah, the free preview here for each night will be on this YouTube channel, as well as tons of other comment added throughout the week during the season on the YouTube channel. So like and subscribe that. And for those of you wanting to watch this evening's races, it'll be available on speedrome.tv. Those of you that are on speedrome.tv, the feed will continue on from there. So if you're wanting to join us for that, please pick up the subscription to that. The monthly subscription is the best deal, or you can buy an individual night. So glad to have you all at home watching us on speedrome.tv. And thanks for tuning in to YouTube.